truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. Welcome aboard, all. Hey, I'll tell you what, I said this to you guys before. I did not think that covering the Philadelphia Eagles would give me, one, so much pleasure, and the content would be off the charts, and it is. By the way, we always start the show off with thank you to our friends at BetUS powering these next 4 hours here, along with you, obviously. And Big Sills, as we always do. We appreciate all coming aboard. There's M. Reyes, the Stat King, trying to make a case for this bum, Jalen Hurts. Now, that is pretty good. That's good. That's an improvement. M. Reyes out of the gate, believe it or not, usually with pathetic takes, has a great one. That's a good one. That's a good take right there, M. Reyes. That's improvement in your quarterback with something that was kryptonite to him the last couple of years. So at the end of the day, believe it or not, this idiot comes out with a great take. And he starts the program off for himself on a high note where it usually takes him 3.5 hours before he says something halfway intelligent. Very good, M. Reyes. It only took him a minute, and he got that up. Very nice. I'll open up with my 3 standard messages. We appreciate our friend M. Reyes being here sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. We hope all of you will hit the like button. Thank you guys very much. Also, all super chats go to the top, as all of you know, or if you're new to the program. Hey, by the way, if you're new to the program, introduce yourself. I'd like to see all the newbies that come in here each and every single day. What do we got here? What do we got here from corporate? M. Reyes with a shout out 42 seconds into the show. M. Reyes moving into JAKIB legend territory. That's from the home office. Okay, so you're getting love, M. Reyes, and I don't know why, because usually you have the worst takes on the planet. But hey, you did start to show off with a good one here. So let me start this off with a question. Do you believe that the Philadelphia Eagle job is a good job? Being the head football coach of the Eagles, is it a good or bad job? Or average job? Is that a job that people covet? Do you think it's a good job? Chips and Birds, thank you, my friend. Is it a good job? The Philadelphia Eagles head coaching gig. Please trade for You're not getting him. Nico goes, no one wants that shit. M. Reyes, an amazing job. He says it's an amazing job. Chips and Birds, hell no. Here, this is a great take here and well thought out. I dig this right here. It's what you make of it. It could be worse on expectations or the best. It started out good for Chip Kelly, ended terrible on his play. Okay, I like it. Hello, Dan. I'm telling you, your boy Josh is going to kill it with Amari Cooper. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Josh Allen, what a stud. Here's Michael. Good job if you want strings attached. Not much y'all could say about Jalen. No, he's not that good. Well, no, he can. He's not that good. Sills, I say no because the front office is power hungry. So let me get Gabe up here. I think it's average. You have great offensive talent around you, but people up top who micromanage. It's perfect if you like keeping quiet and following out whack-ass orders, all while running plays that the owner's son drew up on game day. Okay, so let me give you my take on this. Eduardo, not bad. I like it. Okay, here you go. our newbie. The GM doesn't want a head coach to take his power away. So let me ask you something here. Do you know the Penn State job's a better job than the Philadelphia Eagle job? The Penn State job is better. James Franklin makes $9.5 million. Nick makes $7 million. I mean, here are the guys who make more money in college football than Nick Sirianni. Lane Kiffin, Mike Stoops, Kelly at LSU, DeBoer at Bama, Mike Norvell at FSU makes $10 million. Ryan Day at Ohio State makes $11 million. Lincoln Riley makes $12 million. That's why when you guys were hoping to get Lincoln Riley as the head football coach, the Philadelphia Eagles, you were going to pay a guy $12, $13 million to go coach that team. He's making that now at USC. USC's a better job than the Eagle job. You know why? I don't have to listen to Howie and Jeffrey Lurie and all the analytic idiots and get in the way. I run my own ship. Those high-paying college jobs today are an easier gig than the Eagle gig. The Eagle gig is not that good. I'd rather have a college job. I'm paid more. Dabo Swinney makes $13 million. Kirby Smart makes $15 million. Do you know who the only coaches are that make more money than Kirby Smart? Jim Harbaugh at $16 million, Sean Payton at $18 million, and Andy Reid at $20 million. Kirby Smart is the fourth highest paid coach in America, college or pro. I mean, the Penn State job's a better job. All he has to do is listen to Board of Regents, and the rest of it, he runs that whole thing. When you're in Philadelphia, look at how many mouths you have to feed with ego. Howie, the owner, the kid probably, the analytics guys. I mean, who would have thought James Franklin is considered a better coach? He can't win big games. Then again, I'm not sure Nick can. I mean, follow the money. You may think your Eagle job's a better job than Clemson. It's not. I'd rather have the Clemson job. I make double the money. That's why that owner, he goes cheap on coaching staffs and defense and head coaches. He doesn't pay top dollar. He had to for Chip. And that's why you don't hire a guy like that anymore. It's not because Chip wouldn't work or hiring a guy like Jim Harbaugh. It's because he doesn't want to pay that money. That's why they're all first-year guys. Guys with no tenure. Guys who have never been head coaches. He goes cheap. I'm not saying he's done a bad job at that philosophy either. Since 2000, no losing coaching records since he's owned it. But don't kid yourself. That Eagle job's not that great a job. You make it sound like it's a great job because why? It's your Eagle team. Shit, I can name you 15, 20 coaches that make more money in college than what that guy makes. Here, get this. Doug Peterson makes $8.5 million in Jacksonville. Shit, I just told you, man. Lane Kiffin makes 10 at Ole Miss in the state of Mississippi. Here's another one. Sean McDermott. Here, wait. Matt LaFleur makes $6 million. Shit, I name you 35 coaches. Why being an NFL head coach today, unless you're like Jim Harbaugh, it ain't worth it. I got too many people. Why would I want to listen to a guy like Howie Roseman when I can run my own shop in college? Think about that. The Eagle gig is not that good a gig. I'd rather coach Rutgers. I'd rather coach Rutgers. I'd rather coach Maryland. The Maryland coach makes $6.5 million. He makes as much money basically as Nick Sirianni, the head football coach at Maryland, with less shit. I mean, dude, People were telling me what a great job it is to be the head coach of the Eagles. And I'm like, no, it's not. Same thing in Dallas. Crazy, man. What a crazy week, too. Giants in the Meadowlands this weekend. By the way, Nick Sirianni's presser today, we're going to talk a little bit about that thing. Philly media is letting him off the hook, too. To Xander's point, all right, so he was an asshole on Sunday. Okay, time to look at the Giant game, and it is. But I ask you this question. How many more of these apologies do you think the owner is going to accept before he starts distancing himself from this guy? How many more apologies? It's 3 now that he's had to apologize. I'm not making a full segment out of this thing here. It's just something here because I'm going to do what the guys did today. And I think rightfully so, moved on. And started talking about the game on Sunday. Okay? Anthony says until they're under 500. Okay? But dude, we're getting to a point now where you're kind of crying wolf to me. I'm sorry. Fuck, I don't care anymore. I'm getting to a point like I am in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. People want to bench Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. I'm like this. What's the point? You're 1-5. Make him play it out the rest of the year. You're not going anywhere. Why would you bench him? So then you're going to add more fuel to the fire by benching a guy who makes $50 million and putting him on the bench for a guy who's not your future. Not saying Watson is. For who? James Winston? I mean, what's the point of that? Just play him. Hey, if you win 1 or 2 games, you get a pick in the draft that's going to be in the top 5. Maybe what you have to start doing now is tanking. If you're 1-5 right now, you're in the process of tanking. Don't be in the middle of the road and try winning games. What's the point? You're not going anywhere. Here, let me try to win some games by putting my best players out there. Why? I need a draft pick in April now. I need to try to build up some equity, try to get some good players, maybe even try to get out of that Watson deal. If you're Cleveland, this is the big mistake that general managers, if you're in a position right now where you're 1-5, if I was a general manager, I'd go to my owner and go, we're not going anywhere. We can't be halfway horrible and survive this the next 3 years. Okay, that's what I would do if I were Dallas. By the way, Battle Royale. I don't know what Mark Holmes is going to do today. He may be completely hammered by 4:30 when he gets in here. Philly 500 is chomping at the bit, too, to get in here at 4:30 for Battle Royale Wednesday. Xander at 3:30, as always. Does a great job. I love talking to my friend. Why do the Eagles complicate the offense? Because there's 2. Hey, Gabe. By the way, all supers go to the top. Gabe, why do you think the Eagles complicate the offense? I rarely see us run slants, easy plays to make it third and manageable. Very smart. Remember, we have the best quarterback sneak in the league. Let's go to that. Gabe, why do you think that you have a problem with your offense being so complicated? Why do you think that? Why do you think, Gabe, the offense is so complicated? Right here. Right here. Too many hands in the playbook. I'm here for two hungry hippos to go at it. Not very nice. Tony, very nice. How many people saw the movie Ford versus Ferrari? Anybody see that movie? With Matt Damon? Did you guys see that movie? Ford versus Ferrari. Maxon goes, I did. Maxon, you remember when they first went to the 24 hours of Le Mans, everything broke and everything, and Matt Damon's up there talking to Henry Ford II, and he's talking to him going like this. I watched that red folder, and I'm going to apply this to the game plan. I watched that red folder, that Eagle game plan go through about, 20 or 30 hands before it got to the 19th floor? Pretty much everybody had touched it. Even with the wrong coordinators, driver, even with the wrong things that people were adding to it, we still have one thing, talent. And that's what you have, is talent on the offense. But, sir, you can't win a championship from the owner's box or without one man making a decision. That's the coach. That's exactly what you have here. You got too many hands on the game plan. That's why it's complicated. People complicate shit with too many voices in it. The Eagles run, and I know how they do it. I saw Mike McCoy. Mike McCoy, the former head coach of the Chargers, has the same philosophical beliefs that Nick Sirianni has. You know why? He worked for Mike. He got that from Mike. Mike used to go around when I was covering the Chargers, and he used to tell me on the air, he used to come on my show, we get everybody's opinion on the game plan. And I'm like, but everybody's opinion doesn't matter. He goes, well, we like to take a lot of people's input. Right there, immediately, I knew that they were talking about ownership and that the Spanos has had a say in how the direction of the team and how the offense was going to go. That's why they've never gone anywhere with Phillip Rivers or with Dan Fouts. Even back to the days of Gene Klein, when he owned the team. When you got too many voices on the game plan, you're not going anywhere with it. Jalen Hurts getting fried on a skillet today. The Jalen Hurts offense is hot dog water. the ministry of Jalen Hurts are peasants. Hurts is not a pro-style quarterback. Amen to that. Get this. Here's Bruce sitting here on a Big Sill show, national football show on a Wednesday, stating the obvious and that the ownership doesn't know the obvious. But they do. They do. Okay? I mean, you got Jalen drinks 6 packs of bum juice before every work. Man, now everybody's turning on him. Sills, Sirianni is low-level coach with high-power offense. Yet when the offense is blowing it, shows more of how bad of a coach Sirianni is. I actually like that Sirianni. Hey, we lost to the Vikings last year and this year. Shanahan is too predictable. My expectation was to win this year, not lose again to the same team. Don't worry, man. 49ers, you got a good football team. You'll be there in the end. I don't know if you'll win it because unless somebody shows me they have enough to beat the guy in Kansas City, as of right now, you're still chasing the king. So, yeah, I mean, my question will be how much longer is that guy going to sit there? Love Hurts, believe that Hurts is a elite quarterback, Dan. He's not an elite quarterback. What does he do elite? Don't say winning because since the start of 13, he's 13-9. It's not like he's winning. He ain't winning. Yeah, 1 year winning. Big deal. So did Dante Culpepper in Minnesota. Who cares? So did Rex Grossman in Chicago. I mean, he had 1 year. He's a 1 year wonder, James. As far as I'm concerned, Jalen Hurts is a 1 year wonder until he proves it otherwise to me. Okay? Oh. Okay, I got you. I got you, brother. Thanks, James. Get this. 13-9 is a winning record, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Get that participation trophy there, Prince. 13-9. Look at him. That's a winning record. You're damn right it is, man. 13-9 and getting bounced by the Bucks. There you go. Yeah. Every good team has one voice. Reed, both Harbaughs, Tomlin, McVay, let the coach run the organization. Ours is just a secretary for Howie and Lori. That's right. You got a bunch of people having all these opinions and shit, and the guys who make the decisions are the guys upstairs and trying to win you a Super Bowl from the owner's box. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Fellas, we got to quit with that Hurts elite argument. He's been in the league 5 years now, and he still has no pocket presence. Dude, sinful. Excellent take. Hey, you're right. He's in the league 5 years. I mean, he's who he is, dude. He's going to get better at reading defenses, I guess. I think so. I hope. Hey, I don't know that for a fact. I'm assuming he will. Some quarterbacks never. So, Dan, is the offense ahead of the defense or defense ahead of the offense for the season? The defense is what it is. It's not ahead of anything. Dude, why are you thinking you had a great game against Cleveland? You didn't. Do you know Cleveland is one of the worst historical offenses of all time? In 800 teams in the NFL, they're one of the worst offenses in pro football history. So you didn't have a good game against them. I mean, the offense right now is wobbling because new coordinator. The quarterback is setting protections. He's handling the blitz more. And it's causing him to hold the ball longer. Why? Because he's trying to identify where the blitz is coming from. That's why his pocket presence suffers. He's setting protection. He's got to identify where the blitz is coming from. You think that guy's looking downfield? Or do you think he's looking where the blitz is coming from? Hurts doesn't see the field yet. It's a common teaching tool that Bill Walsh told me on developing of quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts is not looking down the field because he's looking for where the blitz is coming from right now. It's like winning a college championship in 42. I meant 86. In college, you was the man, homie. What the fuck happened to you? I let the best of my emotions get the best of me, Prince. And unfortunately, I didn't act professional as an NFL player. And I allowed my mentality, like Hassan Reddick is, or even Jordan Davis to some extent, get the best of me. And I failed mentally. Want me to be transparent with you? I wish I could say I suck, but I didn't. That's what happened to me. I didn't know how to be a pro. That's why I don't take days off here. That's why I stand for 4 hours. Because if I was given an opportunity to do something that I really loved, I wouldn't take advantage of it ever again. So that's why I do it. Buddy's claim to fame is having another man push his tush. A game in which his team lost via his fumble. The Jalen skirts people. Disgust me. Yeah. All right. Cue ball. Sills fires Sirianni. And we see how Jalen performs after. It's a fair argument. If he's still struggling or gets worse, then it's time to replace him. I think, Q, that's a fair comment. Okay? Okay? You also had a bad injury. Don't sell yourself short. I did. Well, I had a bad illness. It was a massive illness. Okay? It was a massive illness. Almost killed me. So as I look at other teams and I could say, win here, lose there, I look at my Eagles and I go, I don't know if we will win or lose. I get you, Jacob. I get you. Yep. Hurts' ability to succeed depends on the players and coaches around him. I think it's a fair take that people have. Hey, I'd like to see Jalen without. I'd like to see Jalen without Sirianni. Tony, and we appreciate you, Big Sills. Always keeping it 100% all the time. Thank you. Tony, no, I mean, I didn't handle that as a professional, but I also was given last rites on my deathbed after my camp with the Cowboys. So, hey, look, not crying or anything here. It's just what happened. It's part of the story. Still saw your tape the other weekend. You and Jabron were a force to be reckoned with. Thank you. We really were. And as I told Prince, unfortunately, I let it slip away. Okay? That's why I'm harder on rookies. Isn't that funny, Xander? I think now maybe I understand why I'm harder on rookies. I don't give you the benefit of the doubt. You got to show up like a pro. You got to play. You got to watch film. You got to do all the things that it takes for you to be a pro. So I come from it as a place of failure. Okay? Most of you never had a chance to succeed or fail in the NFL. I have. That's where I come from. I don't talk like I'm an all-pro. And by the way, I was doing so well my rookie year with the Bucs. I was nominated for the Pro Bowl. I couldn't have been that bad, Prince. Okay? I couldn't have been that bad. I was on a ballot for the Pro Bowl. Have you been? I've showed you my ballot. I have it right here. I don't want to bring it out again, but I will. I mean, how many ballots have you been on for a Pro Bowl? I have. Okay. Hit the like button, my friends. We are going to do our grades today. Stop crying? No. I wasn't crying when I was going to die. It was okay. I was ready to meet my maker. Wasn't going to cry. God took me, he took me. It's what it is. Hit the like button, my friends. Let's see here. Big Sills, we better be on because our old line. Hey, Richard, this is going to be a lot tougher than you think it's going to be because we're going to take a look at the Giants a little bit as well, a little bit more in depth, kind of like an overview of it. And we'll give you more of our takes on Friday. Okay. Way to lighten it up, Prince. If you die, you die. If he dies, he dies. Yeah. Hey, Prince, nicely done. It's Rocky line. How you doing? If he dies, he dies. If he dies, he dies. I like it. Dude, your boy is going to love throwing to Amari Cooper. Josh Allen. We're going to talk about that, man. Absolutely. Okay? I don't think I want to do that, Jeff. Hey, Jeff. I don't think so. Dude, me too, Prince. Y'all good, brother. Prince is big time. He's big time in here, man. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, it's funny, man. Nico, you talking to me? You talking to me? I was raised by my grandparents and my aunt. I didn't have a mom. So I don't know what you're talking about. My mom's basement? It would have to be my aunt's basement or my grandpa's basement. God bless them. Okay? I wouldn't be my mom's. Mom didn't have a basement. I think she did, and I don't know. All right. Hey, we'll give our weekly grades. We're going to make a leadership comment here. Oh, and my takeaways on Nick Sirianni. We got to do that. We did the apology. So let's get to the Sirianni. Let's get to the Sirianni takeaways here. That's the overlook. Let me find Nick here. Here we go. Here's Nick. Okay. So his presser today was priceless. Priceless. Says, I wish I could get my hands on the offense. defensive playbooks. Maybe look at the pro personnel. Tired of the BS front office politics. Dude, the game plans, there's nothing wrong with the game plans. It's the people executing them. And it's too many voices executing them. One guy, dude, not 18 guys. Why do you think Vic sits up there in that booth basically by himself? He don't want to hear people giving him suggestions. He wants to hear himself think. He wants to process everything himself and get a feel for the game. How do you get hey, Q, you know why you don't have a feel for the game when you're offensive coaches and it looks like the same like Brian Johnson? You know why? Because you have too many voices with too many opinions and their feel of the game. It's not one person having a rhythm. There's no chance of that offense going into rhythm when you have so many voices. That's why it looks the same. It looks the same because their formula's the same. No matter who the coordinator is, it does. Andy Reid could not operate under that premise. No good coordinator could operate under that. With guys having different opinions on every freaking play. You want to know why Jalen Hurts sometimes looks confused? Because the coaching staff confuses them. That's the problem. Here's Nick talking about Barkley going home. I think it's a cool thing. I do. I think it's a cool thing. I think Barkley's probably chomping at the bit to go back and show Giant fans what they're missing. And the Giants are missing a running attack. They're like 27th in rushing. Trying to get the ball into Barkley's hands more. I don't believe that when he said that today at the press conference. No, they're not. Isn't it crazy that the teams that run the ball and stop the run, whether it's 1920 or 2024, are pretty much effectively your best teams in the league? You want to hear a stat? Xander, get a hold of this. Do you know that the Baltimore Ravens this year, as an average, are out-rushing their opponents by 150 yards? That means you have no chance of winning that game because they own the clock, they own field position, and they're limiting you in plays. How funny is it that what gets you back into games is the passing game? What takes you out of games is teams that can run the ball. And the Eagles don't want to do it. I made a comment to my wife about this. It's funny because Dana White doesn't like grapplers. You know what he likes? He likes strikers. You ever notice the greatest MMA guys are St. Pierre? Guys like John Jones and Khabib? They're all grapplers that get you on the ground and choke your ass out. And guys like Conor McGregor, they run into a grappler, and a guy like Khabib destroys them. That's why Cormier couldn't beat him. Cormier couldn't beat John Jones because he's a better striker. And he's an exceptional grappler, even though Cormier's great on the mat. Didn't matter. He was versatile. But that's not what Dana wanted. Dana doesn't want grapplers because you know why? It's like a running attack football team. It's like the Eagles don't want to run the ball. They want to throw the ball. How do you know that, Sills? Well, the quarterback makes 50. You have a receiver making 35, and you have the other receiver making 25. Do you really think they want to run the ball? They don't want to run the ball. I think this is a good sign, Fox. I think this is a great sign for him. This is the beginning. This is good. That's a good thing. Dude, my quarterback should know and have a feel more than the coordinator. Hey, Fox, think of this, okay? Who do you want to have making plays out there for you and making decisions for you? A guy upstairs or the quarterback on the field who sees the game and feels the game? That's called quarterback growth. That's a good thing you're saying. He's audibling out? Great. Because those guys don't really have the answers the last 2 years. Brian Johnson and Kellen Moore don't have the answers. Kellen Moore, man. I mean, listening to him at a press conference, he so sounds like a head football coach today. Hey, man, I'm looking forward to Barkley going back to the Meadowlands. Here's something that I absolutely agree with Nick Sirianni on. Not many things. And he's right on this. And somebody kind of brought it up in a subtle way, in a nice way today. Hey, Nick, you said that you're making calls and what have you defensively and offensively. He's right about this, Sirianni. He is accountable and has his name on every single thing that happens on a Sunday, on a Monday, on a Tuesday. And whether he's play calling or not, it has his name on it. And he's accountable for it. He's right. It's the first thing he said in about 4 months that he's right on. He is accountable for it. And I'm going to keep bringing this comment up that he made. You're accountable for every single thing that goes on, good or bad, with that football team. Because you have your name on it. And personally, the owner and the GM have put your name on it. You are accountable. So if it's a decision not to go for the kick, that's on you. If it's a decision to throw the ball or give Jalen the ability to be able to audible out, throw the ball to AJ, that's also on you. The good and the bad are on you. What I don't like about Sirianni, what he's doing is that he's trying to fall on the sword all the time. And then with his actions and his behavior, it compounds the failures and how people look at this guy as a failure. Nick Sirianni's not a failure. If you didn't know or cover the team or watch the team, you'd look at his record and go, he's made the playoffs every single year. He owns an NFC championship. He's 2-3 in the postseason. Not the greatest. However, he has won a conference title. There's not many coaches in the NFC that have done that. You from 30,000 feet, you would go, you're crazy talking shit like that about him. Until you get around him and you listen to him talk. Every time he opens his mouth at the podium, he puts another nail in his coffin. And I'm talking about his coffin on his career in Philly. I get more excited for a 40-yard run over an 80-yard pass. Yeah, well, but see, Jacob, here's where you're missing this. Okay? The NFL today is about throwing the football and prop bets and gambling. The Eagles are just catching up with the rest of the league now. The last 4 years, 3 years really, or 4 going into the 4th year now, this is the first time that you've really had a pro-style offense in the history of your franchise. You've never had a pro-style offense. 3 yards and a cloud of dust, tight ends, and defense. That's been the mantra of the Eagle mentality for 35 years, going all the way back to Vermeil. I mean, that's been your mentality. The last 4 years, you're catching up to the rest of the league now. You're trying to take advantage of pass interference, which is always called down the field, even though Jalen doesn't get the benefit of the calls like other quarterbacks do because the referees don't give him the autonomy because they don't think he's a good deep passer. I've never seen a football team like the Eagles barely get the benefit of the doubt of PI. You barely get the benefit. You know why? Lamar Jackson barely gets the benefit. They look at you guys as runners. It's the same thing with Cam Newton. They did the same shit with Cam. You don't get the benefit Joe Burrow gets. You don't. So for the first time in your franchise's history, you're now catching up with the rest of the league. Pass-happy league. There's a reason why the quarterbacks are all making $50+ million bucks, and receivers are now making $30 million plus. They want to see high. Dude, always follow the money. Always follow the money in the direction of the league. Okay? Always follow it. It'll tell you exactly what you need to know. You know, opinions are one thing, but when you start following the money, you see the direction of the league. Throwing the ball, paying running backs less. Hey, man, as far as I'm concerned, if the NFL could take the running back out of the game and put halfbacks back there, that's why most of them now are the big backs now that make all the money are guys that can catch the football. Not guys who are one-dimensional. Derrick Henry is a dinosaur now. But because he's so dynamic and so great, it's impossible. Steven says this. A lot of being injured will affect the run game and throwing game. Hey, Stevens, do you know who leads the NFL in sacks? Do you know who leads the NFL in sacks, Stevens? Just a question. Anybody know? Who leads the NFL in sacks? The New York Giants lead the NFL in sacks. Okay? Giants lead the NFL. You think getting Brian Burns had a lot to do with that? Kayvon Thibodeau has been on and off the IR. Okay? I mean, Burns gets after people. He'll be the best second best defensive football player that they've played against, next to Myles Garrett. Okay? And how about this? Kyle, Dexter Lawrence is spectacular. By the way, no Jason Kelce. Cam Jurgens going to have his hands full with this guy. First-year starter against Dexter Lawrence. I'll take Dexter Lawrence any day, any night. Any day, any night. He's one of the top 10 players in the sport. Football players. I saw an RPO with Hurts and Barkley Sunday where Hurts decided to keep. I had to do a double take. I saw it too because it looked like 22 again. Need more of that. Q. That's why that game resembled that a little bit of 22. And I personally think that's a little bit why AJ started bitching a little bit on the sidelines about his targets because they were running a few more RPOs than what they had in the past. By the way, I'm still convinced this about AJ Brown. As great as he is, he wants to get his numbers and his targets. I mean, I personally think that guy is more concerned about his targets and his yards than he is about winning. And guess what? Today's NFL, I don't think that's just an A.J. Brown thing. Because what did I tell you? You get paid on yards. You get paid on production. You don't get paid on wins. It's a team sport. A.J. Brown has no bearing, not some, but not massive bearing on winning and losing. You guys almost lost to the Browns. It wasn't like you were close and blowing your team out because of him. Hey, by the way, you're telling me A.J. Brown is only worth 4 points? Jesus Christ, really? Against the Browns? Okay. Not much of an advantage. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hold on. Abe. Absolutely. Abe. A.J. Brown in his contract, if he gets 100 catches, he probably gets $1 million. If he gets 1,200 yards, he probably gets $300,000. If he gets 1,300 yards, he probably gets $500,000. And if he goes over 1,500 yards, they probably give him a $2 million contract incentive with bonuses. Absolutely. If you play 75% of the plays, you get an additional $300,000. Why do you think they don't take players out of games, late in games with blowouts? Because your contract dictates playing percentage and statistics. That's why you don't see traditionally quarterbacks like you do in college being taken out, because the quarterback's contract is based on playing percentages. I mean, guys, follow the money. Pro athletes don't get pulled out of games because of the money. Sean says what now, man? Seals, I guarantee the games are a lot more competitive with AJ in the lineup, you idiot. Really? What happened last year when he was in the lineup and you were 1-7 and you were getting beat by teams like the Giants? More competitive? You were getting fucking blown out by teams. You were getting beat by nobody teams. What an absolute shit take that is. This guy makes it sound like where was he last year? Sean, where was he last year when you were in a nuclear meltdown and he had one 100-yard game in the last 9 games of the year? Where was he? More competitive? You're 13-9 in the last 22 ball games. How competitive are you? Did you think that, the Browns game was more competitive because AJ was on the field and you won by 4. Great. Great, you idiot. The problem is that when you take AJ off the field, your quarterback melts. That's why he's not elite. Okay? That's why when that quarterback doesn't have that guy on the field, your quarterback stinks. He looks like Tyrod Taylor. Should that be? Did your quarterback melt down that much? I mean, it doesn't even resemble himself. That's how you know that guy's not who he is or who you think he is. Because if he doesn't have all of his toys around him, he cries like a baby in a playpen. Who are you kidding? All you have to do is watch the freaking games. Is it Hurts who melts down or is it the coaching staff? Well, dude, he's got to execute, doesn't he? Hey, so wait a minute. Let me ask you this, podcast. If I draw a play up and you can't execute it, who's it on? The coach or the player? I mean, he can't execute anything. He doesn't execute. AJ's not on the field. He can't execute shit. And by the way, he even tells you in press conferences, I feel more comfortable with Devontae and AJ versus Paris Campbell and Dotson. Okay, that's not a horrible take. So without A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts is not functional, is what we're told and what we see every time he plays. Is that a fair comment? Hey, let me ask you guys this. If A.J. Brown is not on the field, Jalen Hurts is not a competent quarterback. Is that fair, at least to say? Dexter Lawrence is an Ox Hills, incredible player, absolutely fabulous football player, one of the better defensive linemen that they've had in the history of that franchise. Dan, do you agree Hurts will never be successful in Philadelphia because the front office does not believe in player development? Yes, I do. Yes. Yes. Here's another thing. Here's another absolute crazy-ass comment for a second day in a row by Chips and Birds. The 29th ranked defense is ahead of schedule. Okay. Wake me up when that's a fact. Seal scored 2 TDs and held Cleveland to 2 field goals. A fluke that wasn't a fluke block kick. And a scoop and score tipped the scales. We should have won by 11. How many games, Mikey, are you going to say you should have, could have, would have? It's been all year, should have, could have, would have. Should have caught the pass by Barkley. Should have won the game by 11. Should have beat the Bucks. Should have beat Atlanta. Should have what? What's next to should have? Man, you got an excuse for every week, it seems. When's that shit going to stop? Fair comment, but if we aren't competent without 2 elite dudes, you have no business making $50 million. If that's the case, draft and plug someone in. Lawrence from New York is one of the best interior tackles ever. Absolutely, 304. Absolutely. Is it about quarterback play? I don't see Hurts outplaying Danny Dimes. Great comment, and I'm going to tell you he's not. Man, the pizza guy sauce. Danny DeVito outplayed him. Hurts is a tomato can. Actually, the numbers for Dimes Jones, he has a better passing offense than Jalen Hurts is. He's averaging more passing yards in the air, and he's got the same amount of touchdown passes. Jalen Hurts is not outplaying Daniel Jones. He's not. You can say whatever you want. He's not outplaying him. He's playing to his level. Right now, Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts are the same players, statistically. The Giants have a better passing offense. Eagles are 17th. They're 7th. I mean, Eagles are 17th. The Giants are 12th. Did you know that? You didn't, did you? And the Giant defense is 10th overall. I mean, Sills, will Kellen have to scheme differently now since they see that Jalen can't play without AJ? They scheme it all the time differently. Sills, Hurts is above average. He is. But AJ is the Eagles' best offensive weapon. AJ bullies people, and Smitty's a surgical tool. They need to figure out Barkley, though, and run more. Absolutely. But, hey, I'll say this to you, Jason. Okay? It took a little time in Baltimore, right, for the offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, and for John Harbaugh and Lamar to figure out Derrick Henry. Well, they don't really have any other weapons except for the tight end there, Andrews. Zay Flowers is a fine player, but I compare him kind of to Amari Cooper. He's one of them dudes. He's not an elite player. He's a good player. Functional, above average. He's good. But they don't have elite offensive skill people outside of the running back and the quarterback. And tight end. Take St. Brown and Williams away. Is Goff elite? All I know about Jared Goff is that Jared Goff went up and resurrected the Detroit Lions front office and the entire facility and the organization. And Jared Goff has been to 2 NFC championship games with 2 different teams, the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams. And he owns an NFC championship ring. Jared Goff is the second most accomplished quarterback in the NFC. So whatever you say about him, his resume doesn't go to what you're saying. You know, just because you have elite wide receivers, okay? This guy throws for 4,600 yards and 35 touchdowns a year. Your guy throws for 20 touchdowns a year and 3,800. I mean, Jared Goff, they win games because of him throwing the ball. You don't win games because Jalen throws the ball. You win games because Jalen's dual threat. You're trying to compare resumes? You shouldn't. Look at his first couple of years in the league when he starting with Sean McVay. He went to a Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots. You're making it sound like Jared. Hey, by the way, I'm not a Jared Goff guy, but he got a $53 million a year raise for a reason. And it wasn't because he wasn't an elite guy up there. I'll tell you what, you may not think he's elite. He does elite things. Isn't that crazy? There's people in here that look at Jared Goff and go, he's not elite, and yet he does elite things. Throws for 4,500 yards. Goes to conference championships. Turns the franchise around like the Lions. Turn the Rams franchise around. What were the help me out here. What did Jeff Fisher do when they went to Los Angeles? I missed that. They won 4 games, and they benched him. I'm trying to figure out, what were the Rams before Jared Goff was there? They were nothing. I never want to see Jalen pass for more than 30 times. Jason, that's the remedy. 13, 14 carries and 25 passes. He's not going to lose. Okay? Dan, you do know Jones has more passing attempts than Hurts. Who's he throwing the fucking ball to? He's got a whole team of Paris Campbells outside of Malik Neighbors, who's been on and off the IR. You're making it sound like that guy's throwing to a... You know what he is? Daniel Jones right now. And by the way, I don't think the guy's good at all either. But Daniel Jones is throwing to the same amount of talented wide receivers as Carson Wentz did his last 2 years in the league with the Eagles. There's nobody on that team. Neighbors looks like an elite kid. Got to stay healthy, though. You're making it sound again. That guy doesn't have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown or Barkley on that team. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Who's Daniel Jones throwing to again? I can't name the receivers in New York outside of Neighbors. What matters is Super Bowl, winning Super Bowls, not just getting there and losing. Golf hasn't proven it yet. Name me another quarterback in the NFC with a better resume than him. Okay. Stafford has a losing record and a Super Bowl. Super Bowl trumps it. Name me another one. Name me another guy in the NFC that has a better resume than Jared Goff. Who? 4 Pro Bowls, 2 conference title games with 2 different teams, a conference championship. Name me one. Name me one. Jalen Hurts does not have a better resume. Purdy has 2 Super Bowls? I must have missed that other one. Purdy does not. Purdy does not. Crazy. Can't see the thing right in front of you. Creating turnovers. Why does Nick address this? Creating turnovers? Turnovers, if you're counting on creating turnovers, that is the most inconsistent stat you could possibly be talking about as a head coach. I think it's just the way the ball bounces and having your guys play proper technique and in proper positions. Because if you're counting on turnovers, that's a hit or miss thing. That's why one year you have really great turnovers, the next year you don't. It's not because you have lesser players. It's because it's the way the ball bounces. Not sure about Dallas Goedert. Calcaterra is really playing well. I think there's a good chemistry between him and Hurts. I made this point. Anybody who defends Nick Sirianni in the media, and I'm going to say this, and I'm sure that people will be a little bit disappointed when they hear it. Golf is most accomplished quarterback in the NFC. Mahomes is the only elite quarterback in the league. Allen's the next closest guy. Q. Yeah, probably right. Probably give it to Stafford, though, because of the Super Bowl win. But always remember, Stafford's underwater when it comes to his career record. Matthew Stafford's not a 500 coach, another 500 quarterback. Think about this, too. He had Megatron in Detroit, and he couldn't do shit with him. Golf goes up there, and he's got a winning record in Detroit. Anybody who defends Nick Sirianni and the way he's conducted himself as a head coach, he's a shill for the Eagles. And that includes everybody who came out yesterday. I don't want to name a name because I absolutely love the guy. But, man, you embarrass yourself. You really do. You embarrass yourself. I mean, it's one thing to call me and tell me that I can't come on your show because the Eagles are mad at me. And it's another thing to go out and defend that shit and make yourself look even dumber. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I was embarrassed for my friend. I was. You have the audacity to call me and tell me you can't come on my show because I'm critical of the team. And then you turn around and you perform basically a vehicle for them so that, hey, look, by the way, I get it. You want to work for the team. You want access to the team. I get it all. I'm not really not understanding of that. I understand it. But don't call me then and tell me I can't come on your show because the Eagles don't want me to. And the Eagles are upset with you. And then turn around and shill for them. I mean, your credibility is zero with me with that. I actually like the guy. Not going to drop the name. I like the guy too much. Okay? I mean, it's the reason I posted on my Twitter page what I said about the shilling of the Philly media. And I didn't name a name because I don't want to. But no, and I'll say it, it's not John McMullen. Actually, John is very critical. John is very critical. It's not Merrill Reese. That's enough. Just saying, you can't call my program up or call me up and tell me that the Philadelphia Eagles and Bob Lang and everybody, all the way up to Howie, are mad at you. And then go on a tirade defending Nick and his behavior. You can't. I mean, lost a lot of credibility for you. I think you lost your own credibility. Hit the like button. Bottom of the hour, Xander Krause will join us. Yeah, so Nick really didn't say anything in his press conference. It wasn't anything like out of hand or anything, okay? Wasn't anything out of hand. Let me get to the New York Giants here. Guys, please hit the like button here. Now, good. I'm glad you guys didn't get who it is. Not going to drop the name. Guys, all super chats go to the top. Trading deadline targets 4 defensive pieces. They're going to be low end, though. They're not going to be high end. They're going to be low end guys. Okay? All right. Hey, by the way, real quick. If the playoffs were to start this weekend, here are your playoff teams. AFC, Chiefs, 1 seed, Texans 2, Ravens 3, Bills 4, Steelers 5, Chargers 6, Colts 7. Seems like the Lions, Vikings actively seek football on defense. They like to play defense, Bumper. Eagles defense is softer than the Egyptian cotton due to Mr. Olay, Matador El Slay. I like it, Bumper. Xander, can we put that $20 T-bone? Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. I love my Eagles, or the thought of what my Eagles should be. If you own your mistakes, I will forgive you over and over. But you act like Nick the Dick, includes Howie and Jeffrey, and I say, F you. Once there is no amends ever. T, you're not going to give up on loving your Eagles. Look at what he says. I love my Eagles. He does. Or I thought what my Eagles should look like and what I want them to look like. If you own your mistakes, I will forever, over and over again, forgive you. But you act like Nick the Dick, includes Howie and Jeffrey, and I say F you. Okay? There's no amends ever. I get it. T-Bone. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you again. So there's your AFC teams. Here's your NFC playoff teams if the playoffs were to start this weekend. Vikings 1, Falcons 2, Commanders 3, Niners 4, Lions 5, Bucks 6, Packers 7. Right now, the Eagles are on the outside looking in. Right now, the Eagles are not in playoffs. They're on the bubble. Right now, they're not a playoff team, and they're not playing like one. A lot of football. Absolutely. A lot of football to be played. Okay. New York Giants. Little bit of an overview. How many people believe, by the way, Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour also. Battle Royale. Mark Holmes, I don't know what shape he's going to be in when he shows up at 4:30. Okay, I don't. Philly 500 is going to join us as well. With all the shit, Sills, be talking. So we should see how Nick might have made anthem for the team as well as his show. Hey, fuck you, don't boo us. All right. Well, all the shit, Sills, be talking. Still should see how Nick might have made amends for the team as well as his show. I like it. Very good. Very good, Wayne. Bob, what do you got for me? Sills, I know Nick's odd, but is it fair to say that the organization has not helped Nick? Yeah. Yeah, they have not helped him be better prepared to handle the Philadelphia media. Absolutely. You know why, though, Bob? That's by design. Got to have a fall guy. Why not set him up for success instead of failure, he says. Dude, end of the day here, though, hey, Bob, I think it's by design. If they need a fall guy, he's perfectly set up for it. It's not going to be, they're not going to set up Howie. They're not going to set up Howie. Hit the like button. How many people believe that this game this weekend it's going to be more difficult than you think? Barrett Brooks should never be back on your show. Is that who you're talking about? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. How many people think this is going to be an easy game for the Eagles on Sunday? I do. Mr. International says I do. Divisional game, yes. Josh says we lose on Sunday. All right, here. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Giants. I gave you the numbers yesterday. Now I'll give you a little bit more kind of nuts and bolts stuff about who they are. The Giants can get after the quarterback. As I told you, and without Malata, the Giants are first in pass rushing with sacks. Okay? They're number one in the league right now after the first quarter poll of the season in sacks. They know how to get home. And you know why? Because that nose crushes the pocket. Quarterback can't step up. And they know how to set the edge. Do you know most of those sacks that they're getting are because of Dexter Lawrence? That's what you were hoping Jordan Davis was going to do. Jordan Davis wasn't going to have a ton of sacks, and neither is ever Dexter Lawrence. But what's the one thing he does? He doesn't allow the quarterback to step up in the pocket, which what? Forces them wide. You set contain, you run right into sacks. And that's what the Giants are doing. These defensive ends that they have, you're running into sacks because of the middle and because of what Lawrence is doing up front. That's what you wanted Jordan Davis to look like. See, look at this. Clarence has 7 sacks. That's because of Dexter Lawrence. That's because of Dexter Lawrence. Crush the pocket. Quarterback goes out wide. You set the edge. Quarterback runs right into sacks. Very simple. When you have interior pressure. Very simple. Wait a minute. Dexter has 6 sacks? Dude. He has 6 sacks in 5 games. Insane for a nose tackle. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Nose tackles get triple teamed. Do you understand that? They're most of the time triple teamed. Sanders, Dexter Lawrence, is that guy a Bama guy or is he a Clemson guy? Dexter Lawrence has 7 fucking sacks. Wow. Wow. They was actually a higher graded Eagle this week. Yeah, okay. You take him, I'll take the guy in New York. That shows you what that fucking number means. He was a higher graded guy. You take Carter, I'll take that guy. That guy has 7 sacks. That's insane for a nose tackle. Yeah, you go right ahead and take Jalen Carter. I got my quarterback rankings coming up with you on the segment. Billy's not going to be happy. Great. I love it. Saquon, revenge game sells. Says Tank. I hope so. Love to see that. Lawrence destroys double teams time and time again. Now, he's so good. Sills is a snitch. I won't reveal who. I just keep mentioning names, and I'll see if anything jogs my memory. Sills, hands down, is a certified killer. Prince. No, what I am is justice. At any expense. Don't pretend to be my friend. Not you. I get self-serving people in the world. I completely know it. My business is filled with self-serving fools. I actually had a guy who worked at my network once call me and tell me that, hey, things that I'm saying on my Twitter page will affect me and things that I'm trying to do legally to others. I said, what the fuck does that have to do with me? Well, you know, I'm trying to get some money from somebody. And I went, again, how does that affect my career? Well, no, I'm talking about me. Well, I don't care about you. Hills is a certified killer. Hey, Prince. Hey, my Miami math. Give me my Miami education. I got it, Prince. You're right. Thank you. Sills is a certified killer. Hey, Prince. I think you and I think a lot alike, brother. I do. I think you and I, Prince, think a lot alike. No shit kind of guy. I think we were raised by people like that. Okay? Sills, with this team, inconsistent play, no game should be viewed as easy, right? I'd put Q on Neighbors so he knows what he's up against for the next 5 to 7 years. I like that take. I do. I like that take. Okay, I'm self-serving. Yeah, to my family? Absolutely. You're goddamn right. Nobody affects my family. Absolutely. I have barely any friends in broadcasting because I don't like anybody in broadcasting, really. I've got a ton of friends outside of it. Hey, the best people I've ever worked for are here. You know why? They do the most important thing. They get my back. And they pay me on time. 2 things I find that really difficult in today's broadcasting. Get your back and pay you on time. B. How hard is that? How hard can that be? I mean, hire a guy, get his back, pay him on time. I've never had a problem. Never. Giants have a top 10 defense too. Top 10. Still sounds bad, but Birds win 3 more games. No more split with the Giants. Beat Panthers, Jags. That's it. Have to take a chance on the number 1 pick. Trade the number 1 pick to Cleveland for Garrett. Smith, Jr., Huff. They're not going to take Huff. They're not going to take Nolan Smith. They're not going to take that. What they would want for Myles Garrett, they'd want a 1 and probably either Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis. Are you ready to trade that? Are you ready to do that? Dude, you're not going to get the best of this deal for Myles Garrett. I mean, what do you want to trade? James Bradbury and Slay and a 1? And think Cleveland's going to give you Myles Garrett? They would want Davis. They got to have something in return for a player. This is more likely. Dan Sileo, honestly, I don't want the Eagles to trade for anything. We're screwed this season. Sirianni needs to go. And by the way, draft picks with Howie. I don't want Howie to have more draft picks. He's not good at it. Bye-bye, Jordan Davis. I get rid of his ass in a second, too, if it was involved with something with Myles Garrett or Max Crosby. I'm not a problem. Jordan Davis is not expendable. I mean, I'm not giving him a contract extension for $18 million or $14, $15 million. That's not happening. The backup is a better player. Milton Williams is a better player. At least more consistent. I'm not giving Carter up. Davis is not that good. He's decent. 13th pick? Absolutely not. I'm not even sure I'm going to give him the 5th-year option. Hey, Prince, what's the 5th-year option for a defensive tackle for 2025? What's projected? What the 5th-year option would be? If it's over 10, I'm not doing it. No, thank you. I have no interest in that. If it's over 10, dude, 10, I might think about it. I might think about it at 10. If it's over 10, no way. Kyle says it's $18 million. Fuck that. I could have had Hassan Reddick for that. Shit, man. $4 more million, I could have had Brian Burns. $4 more million, I could have paid Brian Burns and given Carolina a 3. Jordan Davis, 2026 second for Crosby. Who says no? Dude, Crosby, you're going to need a 1. Well, wait a minute. 27. 2 and a 5? I mean, dude, Devontae Adams just went for a 3. Sirianni can't win Super Bowls. At least we are in contention every year. Absolutely, you're hanging around the rim in San Francisco. You guys do draft the right guys. Eagles don't know how to draft. Absolutely. Don't talk. Dude, Dick, what does Dick Train know about drafting? He backs a guy who's a fool who drafts. Seals, doesn't the AFC look more hectic with their players' depth than what the NFC does, excluding the Cowgirls? I think especially that NFC North. Okay, especially the NFC North. Here, let me go here more on the Giants. Their offense is horrible, no doubt about it. But Daniel Jones is playing as good as Jalen Hurts is right now. That happens to be a fact. Malik Neighbors looks like a superstar. Hey, dude, LSU, Ohio State, Alabama. When I say those programs to you, what immediately comes to mind when I say that to you? Get this. M. Reyes doesn't think, no, he's not. Yeah, he is. He's got just as many touchdowns. He's got just as many turnovers. He has a higher passing per game. His offense is 12th. Yours is 17th. And he's basically throwing to the same guys you are. I mean, yes, he is. See how that guy lies to you? He's lying to you. The Giants have a better passing offense right now than the Eagles do. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's right, Abe. Ohio State, Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, and LSU. They are factories for wide receivers. I can't think of a shitty wide receiver come out of LSU. Can you think of a shitty wide receiver, Xander, in the last 7 drafts that have been bad out of Alabama? Here, once again, the Giants have a fucking higher rated passing attack than the Eagles do. End of story. This guy's an idiot. They're 12th, you're 17th. And Reyes is so fucking dumb. It's beyond, he started the show out great. Unfortunately, he's taken a nosedive. What a dummy. He don't want to hear Jalen Hurts in the same conversation with Daniel Jones. That's why. Let me take a look at something here with Daniel Jones, too. Let's take a look at Daniel Jones. And by the way, I don't think shit of him. I don't think shit at this guy. Hold on here. Let's take a look at this guy. Here we go. I like those projections on what ESPN does. So right now, Daniel Jones is on pace for 3,905 yards, 62 completion percentage, and 17 touchdowns. Let me write that down. 3,905, 17 touchdowns, 11 picks, an 80.9 quarterback rating, and 62-1. Let me see what Hurts is on pace for right now. Let's see Jalen Hurts here. Let's see Hurts. What he's on pace for. He's on pace for 4,000 yards, 100 more. 20 touchdowns, 3 more touchdowns, and 14 picks. 3 more picks. 3,905 versus 4,000, 17 touchdowns versus 20, and Jones has a lesser of the interceptions with 11, and Hurts has an on pace for 14. You're right. You're right. Jalen's playing 10 times better. No, you're right. Oh, man. Kyle Shanahan is no better than Sirianni. That's an absolute ridiculous comment. That guy has, hey, Dick Train, that guy has a job. He's a play caller. Your guy has a job as, guess what? Bozo the Clown. Okay? Bozo the Clown. That's his job. Daniel, he may have to because he has no running attack. Wow, really reaching for on pace for stat? Really? Well, dude, you have to have some context to look at what your guy's doing. You're making it sound like Jalen Hurts is having a good year. He's not. He's having a pedestrian year. Dude, Baker Mayfield is 10 times the quarterback right now that Jalen Hurts has been in the last year and a half. And so is Geno Smith. All of those guys are on pace. Better with their offenses than Hurts is right now. And you're going to go like this. Well, wait a minute. You know, he's been missing his wide receivers. I know. God forbid. Don't take any of his toys away because then he implodes. Guy implodes. Jalen Hurts implodes. Hey, dude, Jalen, absolutely Baker Mayfield's killing it. Absolutely. He's average at best. Dan, how did Denver move off Wilson's contract? They didn't. They're paying him this year. Charlie, they didn't. They're paying $38 million. And get this, the Steelers are only paying $1 million. Okay? The Denver Broncos are paying $38 million. How's that for you? The Broncos are paying him almost $40 million to go away. That shows you how bad. That's what Cleveland will have to do. Cleveland will have to get into that room a little bit as well and do something like that if they want to get out from under that contract with Deshaun Watson. Okay? Jones is having the same season Hurts is. Can't take it, can you? Ooh. That enema hurt. That Daniel Jones enema hurt. Daniel Jones is playing as good as Hurts. Good grief. Woof. Man. Dude, I think this Giant game is going to be an interesting ball game for you guys. They got an absolutely horrible offense. No question about it. Yeah. Holy cow. This is too fun. What a content machine this team is. Shit, it's never boring, I'll tell you that. What was Nick's thing today with the he brought up something really off the cuff. Oh, MJ. I know what it was. Some of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan scored 63 points. And, you know, he was in the Garden. He had that dog mentality, you know. It's kind of what I see with Cooper DeJean. I'm like, he's not really comparing Cooper DeJean's mentality to Michael Jordan's, is he? I honestly, you know, sometimes you mute TV because you're kind of embarrassed when a guy says something fucked up. You're like, let me get this thing here a couple seconds. Okay, now go back on it again. Yeah, you know, you remember the mentality in the Boston Garden when Jordan scored 63? Yeah, hey, Nick, they were swept and they lost. You forgot that, right? All right, just keeping score here on that. Hey, tonight Jordan scored 63 in overtime against the Celtics. The Celtics swept that Bulls team, and they lost that game. I just want to keep everything fair here. And here's Nick. Yeah, I saw MJ and Cooper DeJean. I saw people in the fucking chat with the Eagles going, what in the world is he saying? God, every day it's something great. By the way, all super chats will go to the top. And here we go without further ado. By the way, I can't wait for Battle Royale. I think Mark Holmes might be completely drunk by the time he comes in here at 4:30. So just to keep you aware, and Philly 500 can't wait to chop this guy's ass up and skin this guy alive come 4:30. So that's there for your entertainment at 4:30. Only place you'll see that, okay, is right here on JAKIB, because you won't see anybody fried or filleted when it comes to a press conference with, Nikki Sirianni. Hit the like button. All that being said, the co-host of Birds 365, Big Z, Vander Krause.
What's up, Big Cells?
How you doing, brother?
He didn't say that shit, did he? I didn't catch the press conference today.
Yep.
Oh, no. We're comparing Cooper, one game Cooper DeJean to Michael Jordan.
Well, wait, to be fair, his energy.
I don't care what it is, man. Don't put them in the same sentence, man. And I'm with Flexen, who drops a super. It's always a loser like Nick that want to quote the great MJ. No doubt. Greatest of all time, Michael Jordan. Don't give me that LeBron shit. Michael Jordan, the GOAT.
Absolutely the GOAT. And who would have thought this? So know this, just to show you, my daughter never saw Michael Jordan play a game in her entire life. But she knows, she thinks Michael Jordan's the greatest NBA player of all time.
So when I'm bored, I go on YouTube and I rewatch Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It's the most entertaining thing in the world to do.
Can I tell you my favorite part of that Bulls team is that open they had at Chicago Stadium in the arena. And they, you're 5-time. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, they had the best open.
So as you go 6-0 in the finals, baby, that's a winner. That's a fucking winner. All right, we got a great segment planned today. So my list, I got this list. I feel like Big Sills waving the page at you guys. This list might piss. I pissed myself off making this list. I'm writing this list. I'm like, you got.
Hang on for a second.
You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me.
Hold on for a second. I think I got to try to find my.
Look at this. The Xander Kraus show now, baby. No Big Sills. He rolls out of the room. What's up, everybody? On the chat. A-Track still hating. LJ still hating. A wannabe skinhead. I don't even know what the hell that means, LJ.
Hey, listen, what he does is he's trying to get you to comment on him so that
they want their attention. That's all right. I appreciate him being here. Same with the dude yesterday. I hope he's back, man in black.
He's like a 6-year-old that wants your attention. So,
Chuck, what's up, big dog? What's up, Mr. International? Steve like Dr. J is king. That my
Here we go. I got it. Believe it or not, I found it with all my – this is yesterday's show, by the way. So, okay. So now I only wrote 10 down. So you got a list?
Well, no, I didn't do all right. So my list went so deep because I had to fit in Jalen.
Oh my God.
And then I had to fit in a couple guys after Jalen Hurts. My list is 24 deep. Now I'm not going to sit here and go through all 24. I'll give you them pretty quick, but I got a list here.
All right. I want to hear it. Let me hear them. Go ahead.
All right, you want to start from the top?
24. No, I want to hear. No, wait a minute. Start from the top down.
Okay, yeah. So number one, I got Mahomes. You got to beat the king to beat. In order to be the king, you got to beat the king. I don't want to hear about the interceptions. I don't want to hear about him starting off to a slow start. What is he, 6-0 right now this year? Still the greatest in the game. Obviously makes plays that you just never think you would see from a quarterback. Definitely the best quarterback in the league is Patrick Mahomes. Number two, I have Josh Allen. Playing with a pretty depleted lineup, just added some weapons there with Amari Cooper, most talented quarterback, arguably on Mahomes' level in terms of talent. I got Mahomes number two. Number three, I got Lamar Jackson playing lights out right now. Impressed with him. I think has the potential to have another MVP campaign starting 0-2 and just one rattled off. What are they, 4 straight now? They're 4-2?
Yeah, 4-2.
Yeah, so he's on fire. Number four, Joe Burrow, who is now putting it together, really finding his rhythm right now. Joe Burrow at number 4 for me.
He's having a great year.
Great year right now. I mean, his defense sucks, and they got a lot of problems on that team, but Joe Burrow is still a tremendous quarterback. Number 5, C.J. Stroud playing lights out right now. Still the man right now, one of the top guys in the AFC for me. He's a very good player. Love watching him play. I have C.J. Stroud at number 5. Number 6, I have Brock Purdy.
I got Purdy at 6.
Purdy at 6 for me. Just a good player, man. He comes and he delivers. He just plays good football continuously. So Brock Purdy, number 6. Number 7. Now, this one was tough for me to put here, and I want everybody to know this list is going off of this year. It's it's hard to take a full body of work and do a list right now at week 6 of a year. I'm going Jaden Daniels. I think he's been that impressive. If you watch his game tape, it's just been that freaking good. From the pocket, inside the pocket, outside the pocket, just delivering the ball on time and on target. He's totally catapulted that organization into a bona fide playoff team that looks like they could be a Super Bowl contender if they keep it together.
And by the way, the future of the NFC East.
Yeah, well, don't say that to me yet. Number 8, Jordan Love. Love him. He's a great player. He came back strong. He had another good week last week, so I have him at number 8. Number 9, Aaron Rodgers. I'm not ready to put him out of my top 10 yet. I know people are saying he lost his fastball. I watched him on a Monday night game or a Sunday night game. I forget what it was. Not too many weeks ago, where he was 27 of 35 and he sliced and diced the defense like you won't see many quarterbacks do. You put him on this Eagles team, we're potentially 17-0 in a Super Bowl team. So Aaron Rodgers, number 9 for me. Sam Darnold at number 10. Can you believe that? I had him a little bit lower, and I'm like, I think I got to give him a little bit more credit. He's been that good.
Yeah.
So I moved him up.
Hey, now
to
I'm
10,
gonna
and then
I I didn't do anything after 10, so I want to just, like you said, I
Who'd you
want
have
to.
at 10?
Here's what I did. I
Okay.
had Joe Burrow at 10 because I did take the losses into
All right,
consideration.
that's fair.
So
I was
he's
more
having.
going straight
I don't
quarterback.
mind where you have him though either. I got Baker Mayfield at 9. I think that he's been playing good ball, and that
Yeah,
Bucks
Baker's
team.
right outside my
How
top
about this?
10.
That Bucks team has wins over the Eagles and the Detroit Lions this year,
Yeah, it's
and
impressive.
the Saints.
That's impressive.
So I've got him there. I've got Jaden Daniels at 8. I got Sam Darnold at 7. I think you and I are flipped a little bit on that one. I got Purdy at 6 like you do. I got Jared Goff at 5. I've got Allen at 4. And, after listening to you, I probably have Mahomes too low here. But I've got Mahomes 3. I've got CJ Stroud at 5 and 1. Sitting there at 2.
Yeah, see, I like your list. I have no issue. I was in battle with a lot of these dudes.
I got Lamar number 1 because
Lamar's
right
probably playing like the best quarterback in the league right now.
I think he looks like the best player in the league right now.
Yeah, I just have a hard time starting a quarterback list right now and putting Mahomes not number 1. The dude's got
you're not wrong.
3 Super Bowls and what, a 6 or 7 year career, 3 Super Bowl MVP. I mean, the dude is
He's
just
been
a
to 4 and 6.
He's a stud. So I have a hard time not putting Mahomes at number 1.
Yep.
11. After 11, that's where I put Jared Goff, who I think is a top 10 quarterback. It was hard for me to get him in there. You could argue he's been better than Jordan Love, who missed a couple games. You could argue he's been better than Aaron Rodgers.
Would you agree, before you move on, Xander, would you agree that the difference probably between 13 and 8, you could make a call where you could flip them anyway
100%,
right now?
100%. Number 12, I put Baker Mayfield, who I think has been great this year. His best year in the league so far. And if you watch the Buccaneers games, I'm not sure if Eagle fans have been watching them. That dude is slicing and dicing. He is really dissecting defense as well. He's playing football at a high level right now. You put him on this Eagles roster, we'd be playing lights out right now with the way he's reading defenses, getting that ball out quickly.
Wait, aren't you happy with the guy you got now?
Well, let me get there. So I have Baker at 12. 13, I have Herbert. Hard for me to drop him too low, man. The dude is just so talented.
You're 4 and 2.
But he hasn't put it together. Like the talent that you saw coming into the league, you would expect him to be higher, but I just can't put him higher right now. So I have him at number 13.
He's having a year like he's having is because I think Jim's taking a lot of heat off him by developing a running game. They're in the top 3 when it comes to rushing.
I think he's going to be better. Yeah, I think he's going to go back up that list this year. I think Harbaugh's a better coach for him.
Completely agree.
Yep, no doubt. Number 14, I have Matthew Stafford, a great player in the NFC. Still
probably the best thrower of the football next to Aaron Rodgers.
Yep, up there, no doubt. Matthew Stafford. Number 15, I have Kirk Cousins, who I think's been playing really good football this year. I got to give him a credit there. Number 16, I have Kyler Murray, and I argued putting him over Kirk right now because I think Kyler Murray's finding his stride a little bit as a quarterback right now. I was majorly out on Kyler, and I think he's played better this year. Number 17. Dak Prescott. I got to go.
No!
I know he's been struggling. I still think he's a great thrower of the football.
Prescott.
I still think he's better than Jalen Hurts, and I still think he is just a good quarterback. I mean, look, they got a lot of issues in Dallas. I can't put them all on Dak. Now, he hasn't been great, but I have a hard time believing Dak Prescott's the 20th best quarterback in the league, okay? So I'll put Dak Prescott there at number 17. Number 18, nudging out our man, Jalen Hurts. Caleb Williams. I think he's a better thrower of the football, processing early at a young age right now, really finding his rhythm. He's got the Bears playing at 4 and 2.
4 and 2.
The Bears. Caleb Williams really looking good right now. Number 19. Cracking the list at 19 is Jalen Hurts. I couldn't put Daniel Jones above him. I couldn't put Geno Smith above him. Carr, Fields, Lawrence. I think Jalen's playing at the top tier of those guys right now. The Carrs of the world, the Geno Smiths of the world, the Daniel Joneses of the world. That's what I think Jalen has been this year. Hasn't elevated the team when he's lost anybody. I just don't see it right now. We had a great segment this morning on Birds 365 with Mike Gill, and we're running through this offense. And Mike Gill was, so you should listen to that segment. You would love it. It was just good breaking down of this football, this offense, and how it's working and what the problems are with it and why a lot of these things are pointing at Jalen Hurts. Every fan likes to scapegoat Nick Sirianni. Every fan likes to scapegoat Kellen Moore, and I get it. It's easy to do, but it's on Jalen, I think.
But I also happen to think it's in the room of there's just too many hands on the game plan. You have too many voices in this guy with too many different opinions, and they tell you this weekly that it's a collaborative effort. Dude, I don't want a collaborative effort. And by the way, you think that's a collaborative effort when it comes to play calling with Matt LaFleur in Green Bay?
No, somebody commented that earlier. Look at all the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
I mean,
All
Andy
head
Reid,
coaches,
Kyle
all head
Shanahan,
coaches with the
Sean
decision.
McVay. I mean, they all got one dude in the ear of the quarterback. And look, you could argue the setup is the reason that Jalen Hurts is so low. You know, you could argue he'd be
It
better
is.
with a better setup. But
Plus
I think
his talent.
I think he's lacking in some of the key
Yeah.
areas right now. Getting through your, I mean, look, reading
Getting through your
defenses,
reads.
getting through your progressions.
Yep.
Those are some of the most important things you have to do as a quarterback, and he's not doing them at a high level right now. And I don't want to hear this bullshit that, oh, you're missing a player. Look around the league. Every team in the league is missing players. Jalen can't elevate. Okay, then that tells me he's not in the top 5
He's
or in
not.
the top 10. You can't elevate your team around him at all.
Hey, Xander, when A.J. Brown's not on that team, he melts down.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's
I
been
mean,
proven.
Hey, by the
20,
way,
I have Daniel Jones. 21, Geno Smith. 22, Derek Carr. 23, Trevor Lawrence. 24, Justin Fields. That's where I stopped.
Here, let me. That's a great list, by the way. Hard decisions for you too. But take a look at how they developed three quarterbacks over 39 years in Green Bay. Nate, can you name me a top flight wide receiver up there that outside of Devontae Adams? Can you name me a top flight receiver in Green Bay with Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now Jordan Love?
Well, then when they had Devontae Adams, he was a top flight.
Okay. In 40 years, they had one guy. And by the way, he didn't win a Super Bowl. I mean,
yeah, it's true.
Okay, he won it with Randall Cobb and guys like that. I mean,
yeah, really,
he didn't
win.
You're
right. I mean,
he wasn't. So what's the point? My point is, wide receivers don't develop quarterbacks. Quarterbacks develop wide receivers.
Great take. Agreed, 100%. But it's the other way around in Philly. I mean, look at Jalen's career. His career
and
took
the
off.
GM knows that.
What's that?
And the GM knows that.
Yeah, he does know that. That's why he's stacked the offensive side of the roster. I mean, our defense coming into this year, you would look at it and be like, okay, that's the thing we got to fix. And we signed Saquon Barkley. I mean, we could have went $17 million and picked up one of the best safeties in the league in Xavier McKinney, but because Green Bay feels better about their quarterback, they decided to invest on the defensive side of the ball. You can get mad at me as the messenger. That's the reality.
It is.
Howie chose to use his assets on another offensive weapon when you have 2 top 10 wide receivers, a top 5 offensive line, and a $50 million quarterback.
And a top 3 running back. Don't forget that.
Now you do.
Yeah.
You didn't have that before, but Howie decided to go that route.
You had a Pro Bowl running back last year.
Yeah, but come on. I'm not calling.
Hey, dude, I'll tell you what. He's playing great up in Chicago.
Yeah, he is quietly starting to put together a nice season and catch a.
By the way, we're going to read all super chats. I promise here. Dude, I mean, look at the teams with the quarterbacks that they're developing correctly. And I'll tell you one thing I'm starting to see with Purdy. When they start missing a couple components, how about this, man? Can you imagine Jalen Hurts having to go through the season without A.J. Brown and having to win games? Brock Purdy's going to have to go through the majority of this season, it seems, without Christian McCaffrey. And he's winning ball games. Okay? He's winning games, and he's moving the sticks, and he's having a good year this year. And to me, he's developing into being a guy that you can look back on and go like this. You know what? I am going to pay that guy. I didn't know if he was a product of the system the same way that Jimmy Garoppolo was. But when you took pieces away from Garoppolo, he imploded. And when you put him on a different team without a different play caller, like the Raiders, he was terrible. That guy there is the perfect fit for Kyle Shanahan and what he wants because he processes quickly. He sees the field. You know what Montana said about him? Montana said he's further along in his development as a quarterback than he ever was. That guy won 4 Super Bowls. And by the way, never threw a pick in a Super Bowl. He's 14 touchdowns, no interceptions, had 140 quarterback rating. And you know who he beat in the Super Bowls? John Elway and Dan Marino and guys like that in Super Bowls. You're talking about a guy who's Michael Jordan also in them Super Bowl games. He didn't lose. He's 4-0, dude.
Yeah.
And that guy's saying he
impressive.
processes
Yeah,
better.
if you don't want to listen to me, how about you listen to fucking Dan Marino? How's that for you guys?
Yeah. Hey, those guys are all talking about how, by the way, guys like Brady and Marino talk about Josh Allen and say this, my God almighty, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Because this guy's a 4,400-yard passer. He's going to get you 700. He never misses games because he's 6'6". I mean, dude, look at what I think Josh Allen is developing into a great year this year and into a great quarterback. Think about this, Andrew.
So Josh Allen led the league in interceptions last year. You know how many interceptions he has this year?
How many? 2?
0.
0.
Hey,
and by the way, they're 4-2. They're 4-2, and he has no Stephon Diggs.
Nothing.
And by the way, get this. I think they're having him play a smarter game. Because against that Jets thing, he didn't do anything sensational. But you know what Jimmy always says, Jimmy Johnson? It's not about the sensational plays. It's about not making that one fucked up play. That gets Jalen in trouble.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's messed up plays that he has in games. Okay? That's why.
Did you have any issue with anyone else on my list?
No.
What'd you think of having Dak at 7 or at 17?
I think the turnovers is that why he's low like down there right now.
So many are saying I have him too high.
He could be a little bit because he has a lot of turnovers this year, and that's
who you putting above him?
Who's Caleb? Below?
It's 17 Dak, 18 Caleb, 19 Jalen.
I might put Caleb above him right now.
Yeah, I had a hard time. The only reason I didn't want to do that is because I have a hard time with a rookie, but I did it with Jaden Daniels. So I kind of broke my own rule with Jaden Daniels. I had him at 7.
Okay. Hey, Josh and everybody who's doing super chats, we promise we'll read every single one of them. Let me throw a topic at you here. How much do you really think Nick Sirianni misses Jason Kelce's leadership?
Yeah, I saw that being said. I forget who it was that first talked about that. I'm happy you asked me about it.
Before you go on, I want to give you a buffer. Then I'm glad someone else said it, but hear me out on this. I always thought Tom Brady, and I mentioned this to you the other day. I always thought Tom Brady was kind of the buffer between Belichick and the coach and the players in the locker room. Right. This is what Bill means to say. And I mentioned Tim Duncan to you when it came to Greg Popovich. Hey, this is what Greg means when he's talking about leave your egos at the front door. This is really about us. There was always that buffer in the middle there so that it would be kind of like a conduit from the coach to the players so the players didn't feel like they were being talked down to. When those two guys left their buildings, those two franchises fell apart. Jason Kelce's leadership, do you think he was that kind of guy where, hey, Nick and the organization said something, he would go into the locker room and tell people, hey, this is our team. This is what we have to do.
But isn't that a weak argument? Like, we need a head coach who's 40, what? How old is this dude? He needs a fucking player to keep him on the rails?
Xander, sometimes coaches' egos get in the way so bad. Nick's got one of the biggest egos. Did you not see it on Sunday?
Yeah, really.
Okay?
Yeah, no
You're
doubt.
talking about a very emotional guy.
Yeah, he is.
And so when you have a guy like
I actually think the emotion can be a positive if it's used correctly.
If it's funneled correctly, it is. But here's the problem. His peaks are so high and his downs are so low that you don't want to be on a seesaw when your boss is like that. Who in their world likes to go to work when you have a boss with highs and lows like that? I want a guy like Dungy, man, where this, it's not too high, it's not too low. Hey, when shit goes through, you know why he can't fix anything? Because when he's down, he's down. Yeah, and he can't get off the mat. That's his problem. He's not a guy that can handle his own emotions. So how important was Jason Kelce in that building at keeping everyone's emotions intact?
Well, I'll ask you this. Jason Kelce was on the team when they went 1-7, didn't that? Wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. But do you think that last year had a lot more to do with front office meddling than it did about Sirianni's?
I think the whole organization always has something to do with front office meddling. I mean, we had this conversation this morning, and I'm listening to Mike break this thing down, and I'm like, wait a second, we run our offense ass backwards. If you think about it, we come out and we throw go routes in the first 2 drives on offense, and we don't even think about feeding the running back or letting Jalen get settled into the game or giving him a mesh route or letting him run and get his. We We throw go routes.
Why do you think you do that?
We do that because John tells me all the time. It's an organizational philosophy to want to pass the ball.
There's 3 numbers: 35, 25, and 50. You're not paying those guys to run the ball, dude.
I know. And more than that, they believe organization-wise that that's the best way to win games is to get chunk plays in the passing game. Yep. So they do it to their own detriment versus you have a team like Detroit, another team with a top 5 offensive line, just like we do here in Philly. And you know what Detroit does? They take their offensive line and they fucking bully you. They bully you with them. And then all of a sudden it makes Jared Goff look like a superstar quarterback because it opens up the whole game.
Yep, St. Brown's
wide open. Dallas about that Detroit offensive line.
Dude, Panay Sewell and those guys. Oh, right now, those guys were playing with them at the end of the game. They were making fun of
the Eagles, and you've been watching the Eagles, obviously, covering the team now for 4 years. You wouldn't even know we had a top 5 offensive line if there wasn't every list in the world telling you it. They don't use those dudes at all.
They don't play like it now.
They do not at all. It's almost insane to think about when you talk about how much the league, everybody across the league struggles with offensive lines, and everybody wants a great offensive line, and it's a top priority for every team. We have it here in Philly, and then we don't use it. We don't bully anybody.
No. Since 2022, you've lost your identity.
That's when we did it. We have no identity.
You had an identity in 22.
Commented on Birds 365 this morning. I think it was Kenny, his name is, I think, in the chat. Kenny, if you're in here, appreciate it. I think it was you this morning.
I haven't had an identity in a year and a half.
The biggest difference between the Philadelphia Eagles and Detroit is Detroit knows exactly what they want to do, and then they come in and they shove it down your throat, and you have to, and you're forced to accept it or try and stop it. The Eagles have no idea what they want to do. We have no identity as an offense.
Let me show you something.
Dropping back and throwing a go route to A.J. Brown in the second, third, and fourth play of the game is not an identity.
Here, Xander, when Baltimore wins a game, you know their identity. When Baltimore loses a game, you know their identity. When Baltimore does something different out of their identity, like throw the ball too much against Kansas City, you know they're doing things and they're being outcoached. That identity to that team goes whether you're winning or losing. It doesn't matter on winning or losing. You win that way, you lose that way. The Eagles do this. When you don't have personnel on the team implodes. When you have personnel on the team struggles. Why? Because the quarterback struggles on getting the ball spread around and they get away from running the ball. Dude, Jalen Hurts' best asset is the fact that he can run the ball. That's what his asset, and it opens up the passing game and those guys later in the games. Don't you remember what they used to do in 22? They would run the ball 13, 14 play drives. Whatever happened to those things? They completely went away. And what would happen? In the second half, they were throwing the ball around the yard like they were playing in their backyard Nerf ball. But they loosened you up. How many times in 22, Xander, did we see this? 12-play drive, score. The other team has the ball for 6 minutes in the first half, and you're going like this. Holy shit, that team only got 12 plays.
We don't do that at all.
To you now.
We don't do that at all anymore, dude. We really don't. Detroit is a fun team to watch, and it was big shout out to Kenny. It was you, Kenny. Appreciate you being here. Bob with another good take, as per usual, from Bob Brown. Xander, Detroit has taken on the personality of their coach, just like Philly has taken on Nick's. And Bob, here's why that pisses me off so much more than it should. Because it's not like we're playing with fuddy-duddy offensive linemen out there. Our offensive line is as good as Detroit's. It's as good. And if it's not as good, it's right there. And we don't use them. We do not bully anybody. We are closer to being the Miami Dolphins with the cutesy stuff than we are being the Detroit Lions, where they just
don't you understand, Xander, when you become a passing team, you're a finesse team. You're not a power team.
No, we're not at all. And you know what the funniest part about this is?
And that's self-inflicted.
I hate this organization. They believe if you want to be the power team, you can't be the passing team too. You can be both. Set the game up, pound it down their throat, and then open it up for Jalen Hurts. Make his life easier.
The only way that dynamic changes if you have a generational talent like Brady or Mahomes. Other than that, those guys come along. I mean,
I
look,
still watch
they're,
Jalen Hurts.
they're not a power running game in Kansas City, but the quarterback is so special. Okay, he's so special, and Brady too. They didn't have a gigantic power game, but you would swear.
We're not even built like that. We
I,
don't need to be.
I know you're not.
Jared Goff is not Patrick Mahomes.
Wait a minute. The coach and the quarterback aren't good enough.
Is it the coach?
It's both. Remember, you said you got to have both.
I know, but
name me a football team that's a contender that doesn't have both.
I know, but here's my new worry with Nick Sirianni. Is it even Nick Sirianni who's making any of these game plans? John tells me every day on one hand, the organization wants chunk plays in the passing game. Now they paid Jalen Hurts this $50 million a year contract, and ever since they paid him it, they've turned him into a go route only quarterback, and they've completely changed the identity. Am I supposed to believe that that's on Nick Sirianni? Now, it looks like it is because he's the head coach, right? It looks like it is.
Got his name
but
on
how do we know that the organization that marched into Doug Peterson's office after a win, I think it was over the Dallas Cowboys, and said, why'd you run the ball like this?
Everyone fights me on this point. I've been making for 4 years.
I don't think it's Nick. Look, I'm not a huge Nick guy.
Yeah,
all right? I'm not a big Nick fan.
Wait a minute. You say it all the time, though, man. You got to deal with the organizational shit.
I don't know how much Nick's at fault for this. I really don't. And by the way, for the people who say fire Howie,
Xander,
I wonder how much it's Howie.
Hey, wait a minute. It is Howie. It's completely him. He built it.
Howie, or is it him being told by the owner and the kid, these are the analytics, and this is the way we want to run our offense.
I've been saying this shit for 4 years. This is now coming to a head now. And now everybody in Philly is now all of a sudden opening their eyes that, when I hear a press conference or I even hear a great guy like John McMullen telling you that Nick is making decisions. No, he's not. Did he make a hire? No. Does he put the game plan together? Yeah, I showed you how he puts the game plan together.
The thing, right?
Wait a minute. Let me finish. Let me finish this here. Here's how he puts the game plan together. Julian in the analytics department gives him the plays that are going to work, they believe, for that game. And then guess what they do? They put him and Kellen and Stoutland and all the rest of these guys, Nussmeier, put all the game plan together based off the intel that they get from the front office. Who said that on this program? Frank freaking Wright. So in a way, Xander, the hand is predetermined and dealt to you.
Right.
It's like, hey, you want assistant coaches, Nick? That's why Nick can say I hired him. Well, here's a list of 15 guys we like. Go ahead, pick a guy off that list. Right. Then we'll bring them in.
You're right.
Hey, you're setting the deck.
Yeah. You're right. Nick makes a micro decision, but they set the deck on the path of the organization, and they've been doing
the formula. Like you've been saying, they have a formula. That's why, dude, you said the smartest thing that anybody in Philadelphia media has said about 3 weeks ago. John, you keep telling me not to bring up 23, but why does it look the same? And right there I went, because it is. You know why? It's just different names on the door of the coaches. It's the same thing because the front office thinks the same way. Xander, why would they think anything different? Why would they think anything different? They haven't had a losing coach since 2000. They've been to 3 Super Bowls since 2000. They interchange coaches and coordinators like, get this. I mean, seriously, like they're leaves on a tree. You keep asking, well, Jalen Hurts is going to get back. Dude, you were right at the beginning of the year to think that the kid should be throwing for 4,500 yards. But I'm like this. They'll never do that because you know why? It's another system. He's going to take at least 6-7 weeks for him to get comfortable even in setting the protections.
I think he's adding to the problem.
What?
I think Jalen Hurts is adding to the problem.
What's he adding to?
Because there's a lot of dumbasses out there, right? And I'm not going to name names, but there are people who, have a humongous followings that cover this team. And they hear Nick Sirianni go up to a press conference and say, oh, I made the play call on 3rd and 1 when Jalen got sacked and that forced the field goal. Nick Sirianni didn't make that fucking play call, everybody. He is bailing out, not the coordinator, the quarterback who audibled to that play. And then everybody will give Jalen the credit when it worked on the last play, which, by the way, was over the top risky.
Because he's
But
the owner's
nobody,
pet.
everybody says, "Oh, Nick took the blame at the end of the half." Nick didn't. Nick didn't make that call.
Jalen Hurts.
Go watch the tape, Sills. You can see Jalen Hurts look
Jalen
over to
Hurts.
AJ and audible.
Jalen Hurts is the owner's pet.
Yeah, and that's true.
He's the owner's pet. You're not going to talk shit on him. Jalen has so much power in that building because the owner gives it to him that he could do whatever he wants. And so at the end of the day, Nick, like you said, Nick's responsibility, they kept Nick around because you know why? Nick's the perfect head coach for them. He doesn't have a job. They want to run the team. Why would they want a guy in there pushing back on them like Doug and making any kind of suggestions when maybe that's counteractive to what they want to do and how they want to do business? Look, I told you, I can't believe that they actually listened to me and ran the ball the way they did, and actually the way Jalen ran. 25 passes, 14 rushes. That's what I said the winning formula was going to be. And let me ask you this too about AJ. So AJ Brown, you add him to the offense. You're trying to tell me that he was only worth 4 points against the Browns? I mean, Xander, you added a high-quality guy like that, and you barely beat a shitty team. Do you know that they did a survey of over 800 teams in the last, I can't remember how many years. Do you know the Browns are one of the bottom 5 teams of all time offensively in like the last 35 years? One of the worst offenses. And people are coming out of that going, well, the defense really had – no, the defense didn't. They played they played down, I should say, to the Browns.
Yeah, but
They didn't have a great game.
I think you're missing the boat here on okay, the defense was never supposed to be this good. We knew that the defense lacked equity. We knew that it lacked investment. This offense is Sills, we're averaging like 20 points a game right now. You think these problems are on the defense?
No.
I get it. The defense isn't perfect.
No. I think the problem is that how the defense was built, but I also think that your quarterback and your head coach are never going to have that offense in a position where you want it to be because they're not good enough. They're not good enough to be able to handle. Look at this. You got all that. Jalen's got the most talented offense in pro football. And dude, you can't score more than 20 points a game with those guys. I mean, Daniel Jones is playing at the same level right now as Jalen Hurts is, passing wise. He's playing at the same level. And I don't think anybody in here thinks Daniel Jones is a good quarterback or you build your team around him. But you know what he has? He has Brian Dable, who's at least putting him in a position to succeed. Dude, Xander, I've been saying it for 3 years to you. He's not that good.
I know, and I think you're also missing how much he's audible and on the field. He's been clamoring for this autonomy for years. Jason Kelce talked about it in his interview before the Monday Night Football game.
He's changing plays into bad plays.
He's changing plays like crazy. Now, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe like you said, okay, put the ball in the superstar's hands. Okay.
You're paying them.
Yeah, but it's not working.
Hey, okay, it's not working in Cleveland either. I get it. Sometimes you make mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think it's a bigger issue than you're leading on though. I mean, there's these things that float around all over social media. This isn't Kellen Moore's offense. Yeah. It's not Nick Sirianni's either. It's fucking Jalen Hurts's. Go look at 22, 23, and 24. Everybody keeps putting the route comparison of AJ Brown last year, this year. It's the same thing. Dude. And Jalen Hurts is audibling on all the play. He's sending AJ on a go route every time he audibles.
Okay. To go to your thinking, if you are going to think the way you are, the one thing at 22 that justifies what you're saying, RPO puts you in a box, doesn't give you a chance to audible. It gives you a chance to make decisions right there into play. Carry it, hand it off, what have you. But it's more of a controlling of the quarterback. Quarterback's not going to do anything crazy. So that's a non-traditional offense. But I'll also tell you something else that he's doing this year that is, to your point, why he's struggling. Okay, Xander, so when he comes to the line of scrimmage and he has to identify where he thinks the blitzes are going to come from, either strong safety, free safety, or he thinks there's going to be an edge rush or there's going to be a game in the middle. How in the world is he looking downfield when he's looking right in front of him to try to figure out where the blitzing's coming from? You know why he goes to one target? He's not seeing the entire field. because he's worried about setting
No,
protection
no.
and worrying about where the blitz is coming from. That's why he's
I'm so
improved.
far past that point, though, Sills. This is
This is
what we
what
run.
you have.
We run. I know, but I'm saying I've already accepted the reality. We do not run a complex pro-style offense.
Wait a minute. I don't even want to sound like I'm defending the guy, but here, wait a minute. You fucking signed this guy to that money. You got him for 3 more years. You're going to sit here and now fucking trying to go, well, he's not. Hey, that ship has sailed.
I know. You're
in the same position as Cleveland.
My point is, I've already come to the realization that this is a dumbed down. It's a college version offense, and it's built on Jalen only having to see half the field. I'm aware of that.
It's OU offense.
Yeah, it's honestly, it seems like it's even a little bit lesser.
Finding Calcaterra, a guy he played with at OU too. I mean, dude, this guy is a one-read dude. He throws to only 2 people. And by the way, that's a trend now. I mean, it's a trend. And throwing to Dotson or those stupid passes that he was throwing to Britton Covey, fuck, no one thinks those things are any kind of subsequence that you're going to move the sticks with those guys. Dude, this is here. Let me go back to my 4 years ago. I don't see it. I never did see it. He was a one-year wonder. That quarterback has not gotten better at reading defenses. He still can't. His pocket presence is getting better, but it's affecting his down-the-field throws.
Where are you getting that? His pocket presence is getting better?
No, I said his blitz in the pocket.
Okay, well, you misspoke because maybe his reading defense is getting marginally better. The pocket presence is nowhere.
I meant with blitzing.
Watching Jalen Hurts in the pocket gives me agita.
Yeah.
I literally look at him and I'm like, get out of there. He just doesn't look comfortable.
Brady mentioned it. He has no pocket presence.
No pocket awareness. None. And this is the comment. Sean, appreciate you being here. But this is what you got to avoid as a fan, dude. He says, you idiots are acting like the roof is caving in. The Eagles are 3-2 with a cupcake matchup on Sunday. Okay, Sean, here's what I'll tell you, Sean. Enjoy the win. In fact, we'll probably win the next 3 straight, and we'll be 6-2, and you'll be on here telling me how stupid I am because we're 6-2. And then we're going to get to the back end of the year. We're going to play competent football teams, and they're going to laugh us off the turf. And we're going to score 9 points in a playoff game again because we don't have a real NFL offense.
Hey,
so
Sean,
you can beat up on the worst teams in the league and feel good about it. If that's what you want to do, that's your prerogative. That's fine. But don't expect a Super Bowl. Don't expect that type of an offense.
Sean, you were probably one of the ones that were ripping me when I was ripping your team at 10-1. When I was saying this will catch up to you.
Exactly.
And this will catch up to you.
I watched it from behind the scenes last year, but I watched the same thing happen. Silio's dumb. We're 10-1, best team in the league. We scored 9 points versus the Bucks. And everybody still wants to blame the defense. 9 points? You went into a playoff game and you scored 9 points.
Take AJ off the field, your quarterback melts.
Forget AJ. That is the sorriest excuse in the world that you don't have AJ Brown for one game and you can't do shit. You scored 9 points in a playoff game, dude.
I know.
No wonder Howie signed Saquon Barkley. He looked at it the same way I did. He said, wait a second, our offense still stinks.
Hey, dude, you're preaching to the choir here. When all you, not you, when all the people in Philly were telling me the ceiling and all that, and I'm going like, this guy's ceiling's 22. That's his ceiling. That's the best he's going to look. He's never going to look better than that ever again. That's what he is. That's, like you said, he can have top 5 moments, but most of the time he's going to hang out around 15 when it comes to being in the middle of the league. He's going to be a tad bit better than Tyrod Taylor. He's going to be a guy that is going to win you some games because why? How he builds the roster up and how he has a really good roster around him. And you're going to win games.
The whole organization is.
It's like pyrite. It's fool's gold.
The whole organization's pissing me off because, I think this is a fair comment, right? Hurts never has the right offensive coordinator. Hurts, he said Hurts needs a coach. It doesn't matter if they change the coach, Love. That's the problem. I actually like Jalen Hurts as a player more than I'm leading on to believe in my segments right now. But he's never going to get that coaching here. They want a pass happy offense here, which means they are going to turn him into what you're seeing right now continuously, whether it works or not.
And
They
that's why
don't
you have
care.
high
That is what
turnovers.
they want. If you put him in an organization like Kansas City or like Baltimore or like the San Francisco 49ers, where there was no owner saying, this is how you must run your team, he'd probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
They'd probably take his work ethic, take his talent, take his athleticism, take his throwing
If
ability.
he was in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh, another good example, they'd probably make him pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
But that's never going to happen here. It's never going to happen here.
Nope.
Ever. We could have 10 head coaches for Hurts. You could have 10 offensive coordinators for Hurts. It's never going to happen.
Happened to Wentz.
They've been telling me for years. John McMullen's been with JAKIB for 5 years now. He's been telling us on the air for long before I ever started doing content. This is the organizational philosophy. They want to throw the ball. That's why every time everybody comments on Bird 365, oh, ask John about this. Ask John about running against the opponent. Ask John about using Saquon more this week. He laughs at me. Every single time he laughs at me and says, they are not going to do that. We have a top 5 offensive line. Like I said earlier in the segment, you wouldn't even know it. If you just got dropped on the earth from Mars and didn't watch football all year and watch the Eagles, you'd say, oh, I don't know how good they're off. Are they middle of the pack O-line? Middle of the pack?
No, they haven't been good in a year and a half.
We don't use them.
No,
Detroit, you'd watch Detroit for 3 drives and say, holy shit.
Ask yourself this. There's two things that they don't do. There's 2 things that they don't do. They don't run the ball, and they don't go to their tight end. And they only go to their tight end when it's an emergency reason. That's it. You got a $50 million tight end. He makes as much money as Jason Kelce or Travis Kelce, and you don't go to him. What's the point of having him? When the other 2 receivers are on the field, Dallas Goedert's nowhere to be found because the quarterback can't find him. Quarterback can't go to his 3rd read, dude. That's not going to happen. He's nowhere in that conversation yet. And you know what? He probably never will be because of the style of play they have. Again, it's funny. I keep going back, and now I'm hearing more things that what I've been saying for 4 years about the kid. The kid is what he is. But now here's the problem. This is not college ball, Xander. We can go out and recruit a kid and replace him. You got to pay that guy, and you got to play that guy.
Yeah, but why I don't get why do they do this? Why do you go and get and draft Jalen Hurts, make him the starting quarterback, use him correctly in 22, make him a star, make him an elite player, make him an MVP candidate, and then pay him and try and turn him into something he's not, and have him throwing the ball like he's some sort of a pass. I mean, people in the chat think I'm being critical of Hurts. I'm not even being critical of Hurts. I'm being critical of the organization who has thrusted him into this spotlight.
They don't want to hear this.
Something he's not.
They don't want to hear this because they think that he's Josh Allen and they think he's Patrick Mahomes. They do. Yeah, they do. They actually think this guy,
Josh Allen, they would be removing assets around him like they are in Buffalo and building up the defense and building up everything else. We had the best. We had last year. We were told
fans think this.
I know, but last year it was the same thing, right? Before Saquon Barkley. Oh, look at how good, look at how stacked the offense is. Wide receiver this, wide receiver that, top 5 tight end, top 5 offensive line. They went out in the offseason, and you know what their biggest signing was? An offensive player.
I know.
Offensive player. With all that, they still went offense.
And they had a project.
Maybe Jeffrey Lurie believes it. Howie Roseman doesn't.
And they went to a project player at end.
Yeah, right.
A
project player who can't get around a tight end.
Hey, I'm just saying.
And Xavier McKinney was too rich. John McMullen has reported that they were fully in on the Xavier McKinney conversation, and that conversation got too rich for him. Meanwhile, that guy's the best safety in the league, and Green Bay looks pretty damn good right now as a football team because they didn't need to load the offense around them. It's on Jalen, but it's also on the whole philosophy of this team. It really is. It's not a winning philosophy. It really is not.
You paid him too soon. I said it right after you signed him.
I think it's even deeper than that, though. I really do.
But now you can't get out from under it. The conversation is you're done with it. You have to make this thing. Let me tell you where they're at right now. They have to make this thing work. that you're stuck for 3 years, dude, or at least 2 more.
Yeah.
Or do you want to do what Denver did? Do you want to eat $39-40 million of a contract? Because remember something, Pittsburgh's only paying $1 million of that $40 million contract that Russell Wilson. Do you want to go down that route? Howie wouldn't even cut James Bradbury to save $4 million.
Wait, look at Emirates. I love you, dude. I love you. He said Green Bay, the team we beat. Oh yeah, all right. Didn't we all say that about Kansas City last year too?
Yeah,
the team that won the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, we got bounced by Baker Mayfield and the Bucks.
And the
with
Bucks
9 points on the board, Emirates.
And the Bucks
is delusional, bro. I love you, but don't be delusional.
He's totally delusional. He thinks his football team is better than they are.
In the face. It's much easier that way.
Hey, let me just say this to you. Emirates is probably like a lot of people in that fan base that thinks they're better than they are. You're not. I mean, you can't even beat the Bucks now. The Bucks, Todd Bowles owns you. No matter if you have your full allotment of players or you're not full allotment of players, it doesn't matter. By the way, like I said, you added A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and you barely beat the Browns. How much of an impact did those guys make in that Browns game? Very little when it comes to moving the sticks. The Browns were in a game. Well, wait a minute. They held them. They blocked. Dude, it was a fourth quarter football game against a shitty football team that's going nowhere. That is in a yard sale right now. Who are you kidding me, man? I mean, and you're talking about beating a Browns team that stinks, that everyone's killing right now.
Let's roll through these super chats. We got to get out of here before.
Yeah, because by the way, we got.
Hopefully that cheers everybody up because I'm not in the greatest mood.
Yeah, hey, Mark Holmes, I don't know if he's going to be drunk or not here. So let's get through all the super chats here.
Flexen checked in. Flexen, appreciate it. He says, it's always a loser like Nick that want to crow. We hit that. Appreciate you, Flex. Brian says, what does Hurts have over Dan? I think Daniel Jones maybe. Taller, faster, stronger arm and communicates well. Jalen just talks about his false purpose and crawfish. Okay, T-Bone checks in. To be competitive, I say edge rusher is what's missing. Edge would improve everything. DT, LB, and DBs would improve. Then if offense get close to 22 form, team would be drastically improved. T-Bone, that's great. I worry about the people upstairs who would probably.
How do you think Brian Burns would have looked on the other side of Josh Sweat with Carter and Davis in the middle, front four looking, and then you had Brandon Graham coming in?
He would have looked good.
That would have looked good in there because right now, do you know the Giants are number 1 in pass rushing?
Yeah, they're looking. The Giants are not going to be a walk in the park this week. Prince Swayze checks in. That list is hot garbage. Sorry, Xander. Stay off the weed, bro. 1 Lamar, 2 Patrick, 3 Jalen. Oh, Prince.
No, Jalen. No, Jalen Daniels.
Jaden. Okay, maybe he meant Jaden.
Yeah, he didn't mean Jalen Hurts.
4 Sam. Who? Sam Darnold. 5 Allen.
Yeah, Sam Darnold. Allen.
No, he meant Jalen Hurts, my friend.
No, he didn't mean Jalen Hurts.
He meant Jalen Hurts.
No way. That's spelled with J-A-L.
Prince, did you mean Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts is third. Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts is like I said, he's like a little Fiat.
Prince, that's the worst top 10 I've ever seen in my life that you just put out there. Prince.
No, it's Jalen Daniels.
Prince, that is awful. Lamar, Patrick, okay. Jalen, Sam, Allen, Baker, Goff, Love, Cousins, and Prince, that's the worst list I've ever. Prince, you won the day. The worst list I've ever read in my life.
Wow.
Brian, Jalen Hurts is slow. He is in each and every move he does. The guy looks like he's doing a slow motion photo shoot. We need a QB, not a socialite.
Hey, Brian, he's saying he's doing the moonwalk. Okay.
He does look slow. I got to tell you that. Josh B. So is it time to sell, tank, and rebuild?
No.
Josh B. That's a tough question.
Run through the tape. No way. Run through the tape. You're 3-2, like Prince says. You're 3-2.
Yeah, everybody's going to get high on when you beat the Giants and the Browns and the low lights of the league.
Run through the
then
tape.
Get to
no
the
way.
Playoff and get bounced again. Anthony Amatucci, it's amazing. Lurie saw Kellen Moore in Dallas in 19 and wanted that ridiculed Doug for running. They bring in Moore and it looks nothing like 19. Front office is ruining the offense and game plan. I think Anthony's on to something there.
Totally true. Absolutely true.
Anthony, you've been on fire, man. You've had some really good comments. Anthony Wilson. Anthony, appreciate you being here.
Are you calling Hurts Deshaun Watson? I'm saying that the Philadelphia Eagles are in the same position that the Cleveland Browns are in. You got to make it work, dude. The Browns have to make that work. They got a guaranteed contract with that guy. You got a guaranteed contract with this guy, basically with a no trade. You've got to make that fucker work, dude.
Bald Eagle, literally all we need is a head coach and an OC for 2 years. I don't know about that, Bald. We'll see.
Quarterback.
Get rid of Sirianni, then we'll reassess. Q.
Listen, you can't deny that that one common denominator has been Nick in the building. I mean,
Yeah, but who's the other common denominator? Sills?
I got it.
And why was Nick hired?
It's one or the
Wait,
other.
wait.
Or
Why was
I
Nick
think
hired?
both.
Why was Nick hired?
To be a play caller.
No. Why was Nick hired in 2020?
To be a play calling head coach.
He was hired
play calling
to
head
fix
coach.
Carson Wentz.
Oh,
He was not hired for Jalen Hurts.
he was not.
They wanted Carson Wentz to be reclamated. It did not work. They traded him because Wentz wanted out.
I think he would have had a better chance of fixing Carson than he would have.
I think Doug would have been way better with Jalen than Nick is.
Yeah.
Doug would have made Jalen Hurts way better.
Think Nick would have done a better job with Wentz.
I agree.
Than with Jalen Hurts.
On the flip side, I think Doug would have done a better job with Jalen. And Mark Holmes checks in. Let me drop out of here because Mark's got a lot to answer to this week. Mark, I've been watching your channel all week.
I'm surprised if this guy's not totally just completely hammered. So, hey, by the way, I'm going to say this before because I'm going to take a time out before we get Mark on. You think I should or should I just roll into it?
You can roll into it if you want.
All right, wait a minute. So wait a minute. Here, I'm going to pull him up. Then we'll stay here with it because Philly 500 is also going to join us. But here, I got to do something for you here. Hey, Xander, you keep that shit up. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll replace your ass, and I'll find someone else to ask you questions in there because you know why? I'm talking to the great Dallas Cowboy people like Mark Holmes, who's a fan, who buys into everything we say here, and I don't want him hearing all this because I don't want Mark Holmes to cry and sit there and be all upset about the Dallas Cowboys.
I give a lot of credit to those Dallas radio hosts. I thought they stood strong pretty well.
They did. They hung in there.
105, I think it was 105 The Fan or something, whatever it is in Dallas.
105.3.
Yeah, they did a good job, man. That was bullshit. But let me drop out of here. Mark, have a great segment. Appreciate you joining on, man.
Xander, one thing before you got to remember something about Odyssey. Odyssey's going to listen to those companies that they placate to. Hey, they were going to move me to Boston. The guys in San Diego, because the Padres were upset with me because I called them. Get this. Like I told you before, you're only known for hamburgers with Ray Kroc and the San Diego chicken. That's the only thing you're known for. And they got mad at me for all the things I used to say. I go, they're losing this franchise since 1969. And so they were always mad at me. And so
Big Marshall. That's no way to act, my friend. Why are y'all pumping this scumbag? Mark Holmes is a delusional Cowboy fan. He's not a scumbag. Mark,
you want to know delusional? We got M. Reyes in here. I'll show you delusional.
Let me answer it before I leave. Wait a minute, Xander. You said this season all those quarterbacks are leading the division this season. I should have put CJ instead of Purdy. Well, CJ is a top 5 quarterback in the league. I don't know what you're getting at, though. I thought it was atrocious to have Jalen Hurts at number 3 on your list, Prince.
I think he meant Jaden. Dan. He could not have meant Jalen.
He never said he meant Jaden. And he's got Sam Darnold and then he's got Baker, Goff, Love, Cousins, and Purdy. It's just a bad list, Prince. I'm sorry. It's a bad list, my friend.
Dude, I think that Jalen Hurts is just a tad bit better than Trey Lance.
Oh, God. I'm out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, I was going to take a – hang on here now. Please hit the like button here. You know, some people have empathy. I don't. I don't. Boy, man. So let me tell you something. Before I get Mark Holmes on, well, here's what I think he should do in the Cowboys. Maybe make a trade for Devontae. Oh, wait, that's gone now. He's with the Jets. Maybe you should go. How about bringing Amari Cooper back? I mean, a quarterback. I think the Dallas Cowboys should make a play for somebody like DeAndre Hopkins. Somebody like this. Tennessee's going nowhere. Go to the teams that are all shitty. But then again, Jerry Jones thinks that he is a personnel guy. He's 82 years old. And he's telling radio hosts what to do. And the radio hosts are not wrong. When they played against the Detroit Lions, guys, the Lions roster was 10 times better than Dallas's roster. Penei Sewell would be like me and Mark playing a game of Nerf ball, trying to get into the end zone. All right. Now that I've tortured him enough, Philly 500 will join us here in a minute. God forbid, I don't know what he's going to say to him. Not that his coach is not in any better shape, Nick Sirianni, but here he is, the man who covers the Dallas Cowboys, fine-tooth comb. Fans love him. His great network does spectacular stuff. He's always posting. I watched him even the other day, watching on a Monday night, where he was live streaming the game. It is our friend Mark Holmes. He joins us now here. I'm surprised you didn't have a bag on your head.
Hold on one second.
Oh, that's oh. Yeah. Whoa!
Ooh, is right. I'm ready now.
Are you ready now?
Do you have the baby oil?
No, I have a couple enemas for you that we're getting. Help me. Hey, I have one enema called the Detroit Lions. It might hurt a little, Mark. Hang on for me. Hang on. Without further ado, let's bring our boy in, Philly 500. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you? We shining today, huh?
Oh no, hold on. You know what? Listen, I will admit that we are a pile of shit that Jerry Jones has built. I ain't gonna lie about that. But I gotta say, your Eagles ain't much better, bro.
Oh, you can't listen. We don't get our ass
wait.
by
Hold on.
40 points every time we play at home. You give up 40-something points every time you play. How could you even mention my team?
Yeah, but
At least my team keeps it close.
I'm gonna say
my team's over 500. You have a bad quarterback, man. You got a guy who turns over the ball a lot. What is he, third in interceptions? Man, Dak Prescott is a turnover machine. A machine. Turnover machine. It's brutal. It's brutal.
Mark,
he stinks.
let me start with you. Are the Cowboys in Chernobyl meltdown right now?
Let me go one thing real quick. I'm gonna say, at least when my team looks like ass and gets the shit kicked out of them, I still show up.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. I didn't see. I didn't hear you here last week. I didn't see you here last week.
I didn't. My team didn't play last week. You're the one under contract, obligated, or
contract.
You
show me the damn. You know
if
what?
You don't show up. Oh, we know. You told me.
Show me the damn.
Oh,
money.
hey,
oh,
Philly!
Lord.
I signed a contract with JAKIB Me to be on there once a week, every Wednesday. I don't. I have things to do. My team didn't even play last week. What would I possibly be running from? Your team.
Oh my God!
Stinks.
I think Devin White wasn't he cut last? Okay, all right.
Oh yes, so I'm going to run from that.
Well, because
that makes
Mark,
no
I'm
sense.
going to go. Mark,
I'm going to
go back and forth here, Mark. Mark,
okay.
It's not going to be all. Listen, I'm going to go back and forth because we got some questions to answer on both sides of the aisle here.
Yeah.
First question: do you think this is the beginning of the Exxon Valdez hitting shore here, and we're going to see a lot of oil starting to leak out here over the next couple weeks?
It's not the beginning. This is what it is now the curtain has been brought off. Okay, you guys were talking about the guys. Oh, you feel bad for the guys on 105.3 The Fan, right? You know that Jerry Jones came in there and basically said, you know, I'll get somebody else and going to fire him. But see, here's the thing that I have a problem with those guys, because we saw this SS Titanic ship and called them out for saying, you know, for bringing back Zeke, for lack of movement and things. And we were told that we are morons, that we are Cowboys Mafia, and we don't know what we're talking about, and that the Cowboys were going to be great. Now, when they get on this side of the fence with us, they found out they're nobodies in Jerry Jones' mind too. And the problem here is,
well, the only difference is though, Mark, because you have a voice, they have to shut their voice.
exactly.
Same with Philly. If Philly
Jerry-
doesn't see something that goes on with the Eagles,
That's
this
right.
is why you guys have more of a voice and why I don't really put radio people on anymore. Because you know why? And I'm going to get to Philly when it comes to. By the way, that applies in Philadelphia too.
Mhm.
When it comes to the Eagles running the Philadelphia market too, and that's why Philly and his channel are killing it too. But you were right from day one. They did all in did not mean all in. They were not all in on anything. They've done nothing to. How do you not get Derrick Henry's on pace for $2,000? Do you know that $2,000?
I know.
You let him. He lives in Dallas, dude.
Bought a second house in Dallas during the offseason and was literally begging them to pick up the phone. For all we know, Derrick Henry might have said, "Look, bro, I'll come in there for $5 million because I want to win a Super Bowl ring." But you don't know because they won't even talk to anybody. And your boy, to see Devontae Adams go for a third-round conditional pick?
Dude, get this. The Eagles fucked up by giving Dotson. Got Dotson for a third rounder with Washington.
Right.
And Devontae's one of the top 5 guys. All right, let me get to Philly now. Philly. Nick Sirianni's nuclear meltdown, screaming at the fans after a ball game. I mean,
What an idiot.
I mean, very unbecoming. And anything and everybody was talking about that instead of coming out of a bye and getting a win, albeit against the shitty Browns. Still, it's a win. But just your take on this thing here, man. I mean, Nick Sirianni, man, is this guy truly holding this franchise back from being what the potential could really be, a team that could maybe do something in the postseason tournament?
Yeah, of course. I think he's definitely holding back. I actually think this team wins in spite of him. But I'm going to say something, Sills. I actually think that he welcomed the criticism. He welcomed the controversy of this whole entire thing about him yelling at the fans. Why? Because all week, what are people talking about? His engagement with the fans. And everybody is not talking about the fact that this guy cannot have this team ready to play every week when you go into a game. How come this team is so bad in the first quarter every week? He does not have us ready to play. And I think this is an excuse that he's fine with because it's deflecting off of his real weakness. And that is that they don't respond to him. They can like him. They can think he's a great guy, but they don't respond to him.
How about this, too? Think about this. Mark, also chime in on this here. You know what really bugs me about the Eagles start, where they haven't scored a point, not even a field goal in the first quarter for the first time in franchise history. Philly, the first 25 plays are something that you script on Tuesday through Saturday, and you sit with your coaching staff, and they're plays that you think are going to work. They have more success by ad-libbing in the game once they get off that play sheet, which means this.
Right.
They actually don't know what they're doing. Okay? You're putting a game plan together that doesn't work, and yet when they get in there, this is where your comment is. They're winning in spite of their coaches.
They are.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem I have with Kellen. Okay? Dude, it's not Kellen. It's not Brian Johnson. All it is different names. It's the same formation, and I've been saying this since day one that I've been covering the Eagles. This is an organizational mentality that they believe that they want that quarterback to be a drop-back quarterback. I'm going to tell you right now, dude, he'll never be a guy who's going to throw the ball from the pocket. He'll never be that guy. But the guy you saw on Sunday, 260, 45, 50 yards rushing, that's who he is. Stay there, and he'll win more games for you.
Right. And Nick doesn't want to talk about how involved he is in scripting the plays, how many they're scripting. He doesn't want to answer all those things because I believe he's in full control of it. And the reason why I say that is because this is the problem you had last year. So when you go and you play teams and every week you're behind and you're not scoring points, you play a team like Tampa Bay that scores on the first 3 drives, you're done. You're done. This team is winning in spite of its coaching. And I think the head coach is the biggest problem that they have. I think, and nobody's going to convince me of it. I don't care how they try to spin it in the media. I do not believe that this guy is giving complete control to Kilmore. This looks exactly how it looked, especially in the first quarter. I mean, you go 0-5, Hurts goes 0-5. Every receiver's running 20 yards downfield. There's no short passes. There's no outlet. There's no trying to run the ball. It's the same things and same philosophy that they had last year when they struggled. But this puts you behind the 8 ball. How are you going to beat teams by 10 points, 14 points when you're having to play catch up because it takes you a whole quarter and a half to adjust to what's going on?
Absolutely, no question. Now to you, Mark. How do you get destroyed by 40 points in your home building on your owner's birthday and you're not prepared to play? I mean, this is not a Mike McCarthy thing. This is a Jerry Jones and front office issue. Dude, I don't care who you have in there. Jason Garrett, whether you have Jason Garrett in there or you have Chan Gailey or you have any of them other guys, Dave Campbell, who I love, you can have any one of those guys in there. It fucking doesn't matter, dude. It's just not going to matter. Okay, so this isn't a head coaching deal. This is a formate. You have basically almost the same stuff that goes on in Philly that you have there that you think you can win a Super Bowl from the owner's box.
You really answered your own question there. Here's the problem. If Jerry Jones literally said, this is what he said, I don't expect people that I write a check for to question what I do. So I get that you're saying that about RJ and Sean, but does that also go for Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett and everybody else? So
those guys are yes.
Everybody is scared to death of Jerry Jones.
That's right.
So if anything, the best thing that could happen is on his birthday for him to get a shit cake.
How about this?
Everything that he has done has come through.
Let me go back to Philly over here. You don't really think, get this, this is why it's the same setup. You don't really think Nick Sirianni is contradicting anything that's going on play calling wise or analytically from Julian Laurie's office there when, he always mentions, hey, Howie, helps build the roster, all that other bullshit. You know why he's the perfect coach in Philly? Because he's the antithesis of what Doug Peterson was. Doug's going to go, we're going to run the ball here. How do you not run the ball in your opening series? Remember what they did in 22? How many times did we see this, Philly? 14 plays, 12 play drives. The other team gets the ball for 7 minutes. That offense is fucking gone. Right. It's completely gone. And you know why? It's because the front office wants to try to outdo everybody, and they're trying to tell you how smart they are. Same thing with Mark's guys. Mark's guys in that front office, they believe that they are the Super Bowl champions. But here, one thing I'll say, one last thing for both you guys to respond. Mark, the one guy you never replaced was Jimmy. You replaced everyone else. You've never replaced Jimmy.
If you want to know what the real problem is, here is the real problem with the Dallas Cowboys, is because Jerry's ego would not let him give credit to Jimmy Johnson. And see, here's the reality. Jimmy Johnson's not winning those Super Bowls without Jerry. And Jerry's not winning without Jimmy. They needed each other, and they were the perfect fit together. But from the time he got rid of Jimmy Johnson, it was any number of 500 coaches that I put out there with the team that I built is going to win the Super Bowl. And that's why Jerry Jones is on this whole thing of he's the one that's going to do this. He's the GM. He's the one that's going to put on there. And this is the reason that he'll probably go on his deathbed still being the GM, because he cannot admit that Jimmy Johnson was firing him was a mistake.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous. And at least I can say we got the worst running game in football because we brought back Zeke and we got Rico, who should be a role player. That we've got one weapon, which, everybody knows, double cover CD. Nobody else scares you on the offense. That for the defensive line, we rely on Mozzie, who never had a start this year, and we bring in guys that are 30 seconds that are on the defensive line and think we can just plug all these guys in because I'm a genius and we're going to win. And unfortunately, Dak Prescott gets you an opportunity to win enough games where it looks like you're credible.
Absolutely.
And for you to say, well, Dak just sucks. Well, I tell you what, I wish Dak had the talent that the Eagles have right now. You got two credible receivers.
He'd get to the playoffs and lose.
Well, I tell you what, we haven't ever had in the time of Dak Prescott's been there. We've never had the amount.
Oh, yes, you have had a lot of talent.
No, I have
a
not.
lot of
No,
years.
no,
yes, you do.
no,
you had the
not like you have.
best
Not
offensive
like you
line.
had since
Zeke was in his prime. You had
No.
Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb.
when Zeke was in his prime was before
He
Amari
threw
Cooper
37
got there, buddy.
touchdowns. You guys were number 1 seed. You choke. Your team, yes, you are fundamentally flawed because
listen, in
of
order
Jerry
to
Jones.
choke, you need to be expected to do
Your
something.
players aren't that
With the
good.
bums exactly.
I mean,
Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah, especially
it's
your
a talent
quarterback.
issue because you got it.
When you had to go down the field versus Detroit to keep that game close, what does he do? Throws an interception in the end.
Okay, let me ask you this, Philly.
Right.
Let me ask
He's a joker.
Oh, no. Real question. Who on the Cowboys offense would you take over your guys? What players?
In terms of what? I would take
CeeDee
Lamb.
I'd rather have. Okay, so CD. Who else?
As a slot wide receiver, I wouldn't take him over Devontae Smith.
Okay.
Right. I wouldn't definitely take him over Devontae. I definitely wouldn't take your quarterback.
Okay.
I definitely wouldn't take your tight end. Yeah, I mean, you're like I said, you're fundamentally flawed. However, you can't say that one season this year is like the whole the whole career of Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott had teams that were very talented. Mark. How could you sit
go
there
back
and
2
say,
years ago?
the year he threw 37 touchdowns.
Mark Moore did
do?
have 2 number 1 offenses there.
Yeah, he
when
did. But
take
a look at the talent. Okay, when Dak threw 36 TDs there, he had Noah freaking Brown. He had Noah Brown, CD, and he had Michael Gallup on one leg. And
you had
and we weren't anywhere near.
No, that's not even his best year. The best year was when I think I don't know if you were the one seed.
His best year was when
he had Amari Cooper,
CeeDee and Amari
Cedric Wilson, Michael Gallup. Come on, you had the tight end. You had weapons out the wazoo.
He threw 37 TDs.
And he got to the playoffs and he choked.
So let me go back.
He choked.
Okay,
so you don't have the talent, but you also don't have the players that can get it done.
What we're basically saying is that one year that we had CD and Amari together with Cedric Wilson who can't even get on the field on any other team, mind you, Cedric Wilson has done absolutely nothing. So saying that guy was a great receiver
that year, he was really good. He got a big contract from Miami.
Exactly the same way Randall Cobb did. Maybe that was because of the quarterback that was throwing to him. He couldn't get on the field in Miami. And he's with somebody else.
So that was
hear me out for a second, Philly.
Okay,
hear me out, Philly. So what I'm saying is comparable players. We had 1 year that what you guys have right now. 1 year, and that's when Dak threw 37 TDs.
That's not true. That's not true.
No, because after that season, we shipped off Amari Cooper. And we had CeeDee Lamb in the second year.
How many?
We had Noah Brown.
Hold on. There.
He was only there 3
years.
3 years.
So
actually, 2.5. 2.5.
You had one of the most dominating lines in football.
And a shitty defense. And a shitty defense.
Right. So it's always something, right? But it's never, when are you going to say,
all right, well, look at it this way. Bro, right now, you got A.J. Brown.
Mark, how many years has Dak been the starting quarterback?
8 years.
In Dallas.
8 years.
It took Manning 9 years to win his first.
Mm-hmm. Well, he ain't got a team like Manning had right now. I can tell you that right now.
No. I think everyone's under the assumption that quarterbacks, everybody's gauging against Manning or Brady and Mahomes. That you win so young that it does take. Look how long it's taken Matthew Stafford to win a Super Bowl. So again, and I'm not making excuses for him. So I'll ask you first off and foremost here, Philly 500. Tell me, Jalen Hurts' play so far in 2024 has been what?
It's been up and down.
I'm sorry.
It's been up and down. I think he's had too many turnovers. I think that's been the biggest issue for Jalen Hurts. However, not as many turnovers as Dak Prescott. But we could talk about my guys. I could talk about my quarterback's turnovers and his problems turning over the ball. That gets ignored when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, though. But Jalen has had a problem with turnovers. Too many turnovers. It was good to see him not turn over the ball this past game. I think if he takes care of that, I think a lot of the things and issues that we've had for him will go away.
For you, Mark, how do you think Dak Prescott has played?
Well, here's the problem. Okay, and I can hear. But let me give Philly's answer right now. You're just making excuses. But when you have the lowest yard per carries in the NFL at 3.5, and you're second worst in the NFL in yardage, that takes away play action, right or wrong. Nobody's scared about our running game. Second problem, you've got one receiver who scares you, and that's CeeDee Lamb. We are, I think, 28th in separation in the NFL, which means your quarterback is constantly throwing contested balls.
And by the way, let me add to your point that the receivers for the Philadelphia Eagles are second.
Are they?
And
okay.
They're second, and Hurts is 25th in accuracy.
Wow. And so that's half the problem. You can say, well, Dak's a turnover machine. And I can't dispute that he's not turning over the football. But basically, you ain't winning the game with the running game. And if the guys are covered, I ain't got no choice. Either I throw it away and it's a punt, or I've got to try and get the ball in there. And that, unfortunately, goes back to Jerry.
Well, we were talking before the season, and we're talking after the draft and in this summer, and I'm coming on here and Mark's talking about he's talking about how great they're going to be. Zeke Elliott's back, and he's looking good. He's fresh. He's fresh because he hadn't got hit in New England. All this stuff. We tried to tell you, your team is one-dimensional. I think we said it 1,000 times here.
Here's what I said.
One-dimensional. This is not a surprise, Mark.
No, what I said about the Cowboys.
Mark, you're not surprised, are you?
No, here's what I said about the Cowboys. The Cowboys literally have to thread the needle, and they have to have everything go perfect. They've got to have Eric Kendricks come in and actually be a beast. And we need Overshown to be like a Bobby Wagner was, say, 4 years ago. We need Mozzie to be a competent defensive lineman. And we need our two rookie offensive linemen. Well, you got Diggs coming back off an ACL, and Bland hasn't even played because he's been injured. You know, so we literally needed to have everything go right. And unfortunately, everything's gone wrong. Zeke sucks. Tyler Guyton is a penalty machine. You know, Cooper Beebe has been pretty good.
Yeah, but you're using Elliott.
Mozzie's average at best.
Dude, Elliott was a red zone back. He's not a 20-20 guy. Any moron can see that.
I can see that. Why do you act like I wasn't out there saying go get Derrick Henry?
Why are they using him from 20-20? He's not that guy anymore.
Bro,
2 years ago, what do you have? 11 TDs when his last year in Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a red zone guy. But again, there's another example of the organization thinking that they know better. I'm going to ask you both questions about your coaches here now. Philly 500. Does Nick Sirianni survive the year?
No. Well, I think he'll get through maybe the year because they don't like the fire coach. But I think he's going after this year. I mean, to me, what we're seeing right now, I think are the ramblings of a guy who knows he's on his way out. That's how I think.
Then why does he act like a fucking idiot there on the sidelines of the fans?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, Mark, you know what I compared him to?
What's that?
You know what I compared him to? I compared him to Travis Bickle, the guy from Taxi that was like stalking like Jodie Foster.
Oh,
and the guy that was going to shoot some. When he got that haircut, Philly 500, he reminded me of the guy from Philly hates it. He can't hate it. You have to hate, right? That guy represents your team. You hate that.
I'm not happy with. I'm not happy with.
Here's the problem with Nick Sirianni. Every time I think about Nick Sirianni, I see Jalen Hurts being the bigger man in the room as Nick Sirianni's giving the finger up there, and Jalen Hurts is like, "Don't do that, man. What are you doing? How the hell is this guy a head coach?"
Well, let me get to you now here, Junior. How about your guy? Your guy survived the year here because, you know, Jerry likes to think he's right. And most of the time lately, he's been a ton wrong, especially over the last 25 years. For you, you tell me, you think, or is this going to be just again? It really doesn't matter if you fire him and put someone in there because what's the end game to it?
There you go.
Okay.
For me, look, I can't build a house out of balsa wood.
He survives, you think?
You know what? He'll probably end up being the fall guy for Jerry Jones.
If he loses 3 in a row, do you think they fire him?
I think they probably do, but I can't honestly look and say I blame him with what he had to work with.
Oh, I don't think it's his fault.
at all. I mean, and the funny thing is this isn't new. The Cowboys are the worst of the lowest spending team over the last 8 years of free agency. They don't do it. They don't look at opportunities. You know how crazy it was that yesterday morning I'm sitting here and I'm going through with Jerry Jones's whole interview on 105 The Fan, and he's talking about, well, you can't just get players at this time of year. And it was just that moment that the Devontae Adams trade breaks. And you're just looking, and it's a conditional third-round pick. And I'm sitting here thinking, you gave up a fourth-round pick for Trey Lance and are paying this guy $5.5 million, who will walk at the end of the season without making a play for you, and you're telling me that a third-round pick for Devontae Adams isn't enough? Or
that's not
even the
good one.
And he's still got a
That's
3.
not even the one. The Amari Cooper one's the greatest one. They
geez.
traded him for a 5th, and then Cleveland wind up
getting. They first traded a number 1 for him.
Is that right?
It was a first-round pick.
They did.
Wait a minute, Philly. So wait a minute. Browns traded to the Bills because it's probably in season. They're going to get more value. They got a third for him, and the Cowboys traded Amari to the Browns for a 5th.
Yeah, for a 5th.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. How about this? All right, I'm going to ask you both this question here. Mark, I'll first go to you with this. Do you think the Dallas Cowboy job is a good head coaching job?
After what you just heard yesterday, Jerry Jones admit that he's just looking for yes men? No, I don't. You don't? If I'm a coach, you got to understand that they're going to be picking the groceries. You have Jerry Jones, who's always going to be out there running his freaking mouth. You're going to have a Micah Parsons who's literally yucking it up with Big Play Slay, laughing about how we got mollywopped the day after getting your ass kicked. No, fuck this team. You'll get publicity, but you're going to get burned the F out.
Philly, do you think the Philadelphia Eagle head coaching job is a good job?
Potentially, I think it's a great job, but I don't know that we have the right head coach right now. However, if you're talking in terms of not having any control and being a yes man, then no, it isn't. But it should be one of the most lucrative head coaching jobs, right, in football. The NFC East, huge market.
Can I add something to that?
I agree.
I would say this much. We both have owners, that meddle. Okay, we know about the analytics from you guys.
Yeah.
But I will at least say that your front office is trying to give you guys the tools to win. And we don't have that with the Cowboys. We have an owner that literally says, well, we got our guy CD. He's got to get 12 to 15 touches, or we're going to do more with less. You're never going to win with that.
You're not going to win like that. But I want to go back, Mark, and listen. I want you to listen to what Philly 500 just said about being lucrative. Right now, Nick Sirianni makes $7 million. I'm going to make a point to you that the guy wait a minute. Ready? Mm-hmm. The guy at Happy Valley makes $9.5 at Penn State.
Damn.
The Penn State job is a better job. Here, let me give you another one here. Ryan Day makes $4 million more than him. He makes $12 million.
Wow.
Lincoln Riley makes $12 million. The new guy at Alabama, DeBoer, makes $12 million. Kelly at LSU makes $12 million.
Damn.
Mike Stoops at Kentucky makes $12 million. Nick Sirianni, do you know where he doesn't make more money than the Maryland Terrapin head coach?
Damn, he's getting some change.
Well, listen,
it's not a lucrative job, and you got to get this. Hang on, check it out. All I have to do is listen to alumni guy like me bitching about Mario not winning ball games and that doesn't really matter. Or I listen to a president. You got to listen to Howie. You got to listen to Jeffrey. You got to listen now to the kid. You got to listen to the analytics department. I mean, you got a list of people. I don't know about you, but I want to have my own kingdom and my own moat.
There you go.
And I want to be able to run my own ship. And that's the problem. Hey, man, you got that same fucking problem in Dallas too, dude.
Oh, I know that.
That guy don't have his own moat either. And Philly, that's the fundamental flaw in why you guys are 1-3 in Super Bowl since 2000. And you're not 3-1 in Super Bowls.
I'll be honest with you. With Mike McCarthy, the fact that he had 3 years of 12-5 with what the Cowboys have done, with them is actually an amazement. I'm going to dare say, I know we didn't win Super Bowls and we choked and all that, but quite frankly, when you look at think about the Jets have spent more money in free agency than anybody else, right or wrong, in the last 10 years, and they haven't made the playoffs in that time. The Cowboys have been the absolute bottom worst at spending in free agency, but somehow they're at least competitive. And Jerry is satisfied with that. We're worth $3 billion more than anybody else. And, I can go through and, talk about firing the radio host, and it's going to be
worth $10 billion. You're worth $10 billion and you have the highest TV ratings, but you know what you don't have? The highest win percentage.
Don't have it.
Philly, let me throw this at you here. As of right now, if the playoffs were to start this weekend, Vikings are the number 1 seed. Falcons are number 2. Commanders are number 3. 49ers are number 4. Lions are number 5. The Buccaneers are number 6. The Packers are number 7. You're on the outside right now. So are you with the Cowboys, obviously. Do you believe that they end up being a playoff team by the end of the season?
Yes, I do. I think they're a playoff team, and I still think they're going to win the division. I still think they'll win this division. I think it'll be between them and Washington. I think that at the end of the day, I just think they're talented. Listen, this is a team that's 1 catch away from being 3-1. Despite all the things that we talk about. I mean, you would think that we're the Dallas Cowboys, by the way we talk about this team, compared to Mark, who celebrates the team Steelers. He's ready to go buy Super Bowl tickets. We're at least realistic about our team. So I think this team, talent-wise, is good enough to win this division still. And I think they're going to. But, I mean, there are some flaws that I think that you have to fix. And this coach, I have no trust or faith that he can do it. After going through a whole bye week, to come out and look like you did in the first quarter versus Cleveland, it just tells me that they don't listen to him. He's the biggest problem. He's the biggest reason why we struggle. I truly believe that. Now, whether you want to say he's getting the calls and he's being told what to do from the front office, whatever. But this guy is already looks like he's breaking down, shaving his head, fighting with the fans. Comes out in the press conference, starts talking about calling defensive plays. Like, I don't know what's going on with this guy, man. He looks like Britney Spears doing the Illuminati tap dance to me. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
like, I don't know.
All right. Here, let me get to Mark here. Mark. How many division games have you played so far?
Division games? We played 1.
Yeah.
Against
so you're 1-0. You're 1-0, right?
Yeah. Now, and here's what's this is what's
let me get to my question first, though. Do you think you split with the Eagles?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think you win the other game against the Giants?
Yes.
Okay. Washington. Do you think you split with them, or do you think you sweep them?
I actually think the Cowboys will sweep them. And you can call. Look, Phil, wait, hold it, Philly. I see you.
So that
shaking
means
your
you're
head.
5-1, and you'll win the division.
Philly, when was the last time you swept the Cowboys? I'll wait.
Oh my God!
I'll wait, Philly. I'll wait, Philly.
I don't know what the date was, but what does that matter? You just told us that the first 8 years of Dak Prescott's career doesn't matter. So now you want to hold us accountable for not sweeping you. Let's be honest about your Cowboys team. You talk about Jerry Jones. Oh, Jerry Jones don't do this. Jerry Jones do that. All that may be true, but you're getting crushed every week at home.
We
scoring 40-plus points at Dallas, in Dallas. You are not just getting
say this much. Okay.
Because you are getting destroyed. Where is your quarterback, your $60 million man? He can't keep your team in it. Yeah, he stinks.
But here's what I'm going to say, though. Bro, here's what I'm going to say. Right now, Baltimore looks like they're the real deal. Baltimore started off slow. They're
I think they're the best team.
And the Lions, you got to look at the Lions and say, oh, my God, those guys, they were on a freaking mission. We literally walked into a buzzsaw where they were so fired up in there. I don't think it would have mattered who the Cowboys were.
Derrick Henry is playing exceptional ball, and Lamar Jackson is also.
Again, that was another guy that was like, I'm going to show you what you messed up on.
What about New Orleans?
New Orleans is playing good early. That's the one that's not excusable.
Wait a minute. Let me get back to Philly here now. Philly, you haven't played any division games yet. You got the first one this weekend against the Giants, right? Cowboys are in a bye this week, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
So you win this game this weekend against the Giants, right?
Right.
Do you think you sweep the Giants?
Yeah.
Okay, there's 2.
Didn't do it last year.
You think you sweep the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think you sweep Washington?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you believe that you're a 5-1 team also in the division, and
Yeah,
Mark
because
he's 5-1.
Well, yeah, because Dallas can't win it. Dallas can't even score points. They can't even keep it competitive at home.
See, this is where I disagree with Mark. I think he's going to split all the way down the list, except for New York. Except for New York,
I don't see
York.
Dallas. I don't see Dallas beating many teams at home. They can't win at home.
Remember I told them 5 wins, Mark? Remember I told them that?
I hear what you're saying. But you know what? And maybe I'm delusional, but I recall last year going to the bye week how pathetic our offense was. And it took the bye week before we actually started playing together. And with Mike Zimmer, who is still trying to get his footing in, and the amount of injuries that we've had, we will get some of those players back. And if we do, our defense will be better than what it is. That much I can say.
You're fundamentally.
I agree. We are fundamentally flawed. But the funny thing is
and you can't run the ball. You can't win many games.
We can't when we don't have Eric Kendricks, who was out last week, without D-Law, without Mike Carson. Oh, dude, we literally Carson was out. But we had 5 starters out on our defense.
Do you think 5 starters is going to take off what 20-something points? What about the Green Bay game in the playoffs? Got destroyed. New Orleans game got destroyed.
That was last year. We can't change that.
Baltimore
We're dealing with
Okay. See that previous years only matter when Mark wants them to matter. Then
I'm just saying that we're looking. It's a different team from last year, bro.
But what I'm saying is your team can't even be competitive at home. Why? Nobody's scared to go into Dallas and play them.
Even on the offensive side, we lost Tyler Guyton, who's a rookie. We ended up losing wide receiver
injuries.
Listen.
We had injuries and we won a Super Bowl.
We had 8 guys out last week. 8.
Let's get to parting shots here, okay? Mark, I'll let you go first. Parting shots. Anything you want. This is your for a second. Then we'll go over to Philly 500. Your parting shot.
Listen, this will be crazy for me to say this, but San Francisco is not in great shape right now, and McCaffrey probably won't be back until November. And it would be the Cowboy thing to get that win, which will make everybody smooth everything over and think everything's hunky-dory and nothing changes.
Okay.
That's what will end up happening with the Cowboys. The Eagles, you guys have just as many problems right now. You got the power struggle between Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni, and I'm going to tell you, neither of them are worth a fuck. Neither of them are worth a fuck.
There's no power struggle.
Okay.
All right. Philly 500, you have the floor.
Mark is as delusional as he was going into the season. He tells you, I'm so upset. I need a bag over my head. I need this. But then when you listen to him talk, he keeps talking. Really, all he does is make excuses. We're going to come back and beat the Niners. We're going to beat the Eagles. We're going to beat the Giants. We're going to win all these games. We're going to win 5, 6, 7 games. You don't believe your team's as bad as they think. Just admit it. You're just running scared because your team stinks. As soon as they squeak out a win, he'll be like, we're going to win the division. We're the greatest team. He really believes this team is going to do something. But he's fundamentally flawed because you can't run the ball, you can't stop the run, and your quarterback will never carry your team. He will never put them on his back and carry them. Ever.
Hey, Philly, what are you talking about me running scared, bro?
Man,
I'm right here.
Like Nick Sirianni right now.
Okay, right here, Philly. I'm right here. Okay.
Hey, by the way,
I don't know. What is that? A spaghetti? Go have another bowl of spaghetti. Go have some chicken wings and some glizzies.
Have you heard
eat some
about this rumor that Bill Belichick has been called in as a consultant this week during the bye?
No, I hadn't heard that one.
Okay, just make sure you put that out there as facts because
Mark thinks
he's in the credit.
By the way, he's in the building.
He's in
the building. Okay.
Just admit it, Mark. Just say, yeah, man, you know what? We got our ass kicked. We're not playing good, but I think we're going to turn it on and we're going to end up being good and we're going to pull out. Just say it. Don't try to beat around the bush and then put these secret things. We're going to win 5 games here. We're going to beat the Eagles here. Come on, man. Just admit you think your
I'm a
team
believer.
is better. Just say
I
it
still
then.
believe in Santa Claus, and I believe in my team.
Say it.
I believe in my team, man.
Mother humper.
And I believe that the Eagles are chokers too.
I know you do, and I can respect that. You're a Cowboy fan. You should. But I know your team's a choker. I don't have to think. I already know. I mean,
all right, guys.
Dude,
Spectacular
40
stuff.
points at 40+ points, Sills, every time they play at home.
Hey,
And
on
guess
Jerry's
what?
birthday,
I still showed up.
Hey,
So I'm the
he
winner.
did.
I'm
Good,
the
you're
winner.
under
I still
contract.
showed the hell up. I did the walk of shame.
For what?
While you punked
You showed up
bitch.
for what?
You punked
You
out on
showed
your own
up for
station.
what? Yeah, okay.
You a little
Tell my boss
bitch,
that.
man. Admit it.
Hey,
You're a
listen,
little
why
punk-ass
would
bitch.
I be scared to show up when we were on a bye week? Does that make any sense? When the Eagles lost and I lost bets too, do I not get on there and shave my head? I've showed up every time, every place, everywhere. Don't you ever dare try to call me somebody who's scared. You're the scared one. You're the one that can't even be honest about your team, run around circles. Admit it. You're scared to admit that your quarterback's dog shit. Just admit it.
Wow.
Just admit it.
Oh,
Hey,
Lordy.
this enema was pretty tough one here, man.
Go have another. Go eat some glizzies. Go ahead.
Hey,
Go have a glizzy.
hey, guys, you were both spectacular, man. Thank you guys so much.
This guy's nuts.
Oh,
He's nuts.
Lordy.
Hey, don't forget Philly 500. Check out him on his fabulous channel, and also Mark Holmes. Tell him, Mark, how they can find you, brother.
Well, they can definitely find me on BetUS. Make sure you go ahead and use that YouTube
That's
150 promo code so you can get that 150%.
Yeah, I like
And
Mark.
don't forget, second and
Okay.
third are
Shit.
125%. Make sure you drop
There
that
you
in.
go. There you go.
I love Mark, but his team's shit.
I love you too, Philly, and your team shit.
You have
Okay.
to start to be honest about your feelings about this team.
Oh,
You have to
shit.
start to admit the
Okay,
truth.
Joe Boo
Admit
Sports
it.
Report or Cowboy Joe Boo. You'll find me there.
All right, guys,
and
I
here every
appreciate it.
Wednesday.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for coming aboard. Thank you, Philly.
Thank you. Peace.
You got it. That is our friends there. Mark Holmes and Philly 500. Absolutely great. All right, guys. Do me a favor, Xander. Let's rip through some of those super chats here, too, so that we could see those things, man. I really appreciate it here. Mark says, evaluates players like C. Wilson and R. Cobb. Why can't he evaluate Tolbert and Cooks when healthy? Okay, pretty good. All right, that got benched twice in the fourth quarter. Take that, 8.5. All right, let's go down here. I think we got a few more of these super chats here, too, and I appreciate you guys coming aboard. I can't thank you guys enough. But that's it. All right, fantastic stuff. We'll come back and ask you who you thought the winner was. Our grades for the Browns game. An interesting slate, plus we'll reset. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. 304 goes like this. Cox or Lawrence? Fletcher Cox or Dexter Lawrence? 304, that's a great question. Dexter Lawrence is about as dominant of an interior player I've seen in about 25 years. Prime Cox? Yeah, let's do that. Prime Cox, Fletcher Cox, and Dexter Lawrence. Man. Let me think about it. Let me think about that. Let me think about that. We'll do our grades next. I'll read some of your comments. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Let me do the Dexter Lawrence here in a second. I just had somebody text me something. Let me tell. We'll find out if you have any interest in this. Dexter Lawrence or Fletcher resetting. How would you feel about Von Miller joining the Philadelphia Eagles? Eagles making a play for Von Miller. There is interest, from what I'm being told, for Von Miller. I got to think he's, 35, 36? I mean, yes, he's suspended. Again, this is up Howie's skirt. Howie is not going to trade for a top flight edge rusher. Not in season. He's not doing it. Bleed Green says Robert Quinn all over again. Well, that's his. Hey, Bleed Green, that's his MO. That's his MO. Right here. That's more what this is. But wait a minute, Gabe. Gabe, it's a cheap move that could have upside to it. I mean, Clowney, I'd rather have Vaughn. Prince says, fuck that. Send 2 1s for Garrett. Dude, he's not doing that. You know how he values those picks? Hurts yards per carry, including quarterback sneaks 2020, 5.6. Oh, I know. I've seen this. 22, 5.6. Look at Hurts is clearly slowed and regressed. No, Gabe, they've gotten away from it. Gabe. Hey, folks, you see this statistic here? You see this statistic here? Right here. 2020, almost 6 yards a carry. 2021, almost 6 yards a carry. 2022, almost 6 yards a carry. 23, they started throwing the ball more. 24, they're throwing the ball more. Okay? And the reason is because they're getting away from the RPOs. There's no coincidence that 23, it almost went down a full 2 yards a carry. And then this year, it's gone down pretty much almost 3 yards a carry. There's your prime example of what they're doing to him. They want him. Get this. Hey, here, let me ask you guys something. How many turnovers did Jalen Hurts have in 2020? And how many turnovers did he have in 2021? And then 2022. Let's go 21 and 22. I think he had 8 and 22. And I think he had 7? He has more last year than he had in his first 2 years starting in 21 and 22 when he was a runner-up MVP. And over the last 2, he's got 27 turnovers versus 9 turnovers in his first 2 years. Why? Because he's throwing the ball more. They're totally asking him to do completely different things here. Let's talk about how Hurts is better stats than. No, I'm not. Get this. Anybody who compares Jalen Hurts, non-reading defensive quarterback, and a shitty passer to boot, to Patrick Mahomes, who has no weapons whatsoever and wins Super Bowl with no weapons, and Juju Smith-Schuster is a fucking idiot. You're an idiot, guy. Okay? But by the way, let me take that back. You're not an idiot. Okay? Thank you for tuning in. I mean that. Okay? But dude, Patrick Mahomes is 6-0 and he's going for a 3-peat. Hurts can't beat Baker Mayfield. He can't beat Baker Mayfield. I mean, Dev goes like this. By the way, hey, we're good. Mahomes is much better than Hurts. Delusional people here. Idiot like Sil says. Thank you, brother. You had a chance to get Chase Young. You could have got him and signed him, but you didn't. New Orleans did. New Orleans is not going to get off that. They still think they can win the NFC South. Okay? Sills will always throw Mayfield in our face. Well, you have to beat someone first. Always throw Mayfield? I don't have to throw Baker Mayfield. You couldn't beat Tyrod Taylor last year. You couldn't beat Kyler Murray last year. You couldn't beat Drew Lock. What are you talking about? I can name a couple dudes. Stills the offense stacked for the next 2 years. The defense needs to focus, and that's what needs to be focused on. Our defensive players are all young. Absolutely. Why not use the draft picks for this year and next year to acquire a player? Prince, you're not fundamentally wrong. But Prince, you're thinking like a smart football guy, Prince. Think like Howie. He values those picks he thinks the picks are more important than the asset himself when he drafts them. Okay? Bro, how dumb are you with that take? Jalen Hurts has superstars at every position. Allen doesn't. He doesn't have one. Stop with that. You have a $200 million offense. The salary cap, it's $240. 80% of your cap goes to your offense. It's why your defense, as Prince says, is so young. And in 2 years, the defense probably will be better. But not right now. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Bro, we ran through Buffalo, KC, Miami last season. Why don't you tell the full season? And then you ran out of gas versus Seattle, Arizona, New York. Who else? And then Tampa. Dallas and San Francisco destroyed you. I mean, and the lesser quarterbacks. Dude, once they figured out Hurts and the predictability of it, they're all game planning it now. You barely beat a shitty Browns team. What are you kidding me here? Dude, that Browns game, Xander, I should have said this on my post-game show. That Browns game gave me more concerned than positives. Because if you can't beat that team by 14 points or more, and you're struggling to beat the Browns, you're not beating any good teams. You're not beating any good teams. With AJ, with Devontae, with Lane. Dude, I told you. You're get this. Let me ask you this. Do you think your football team since 2022 in the Super Bowl in Arizona, do you think how about this? Do you he did not destroy? That is not true. Josh Allen had 500 yards in total offense in that game. Completely not true. It's a fucking lie. Had 500 yards in total offense, and Stephon Diggs had 60 of it. That Prince is right on here. Prince, let me ask you this. You, Prince, do you think that the team is trending up or down since you played that Super Bowl in the desert against the Chiefs? Do you think you're trending up or down? Down. How many people think you're trending up? Jalen says neither. William, down. Get this. Here's your once absolutely fabulous participation wokester here. Hey, we beat Mahomes, and Mahomes won the Super Bowl. Mic drop. Congratulations. You beat Mahomes. What a victory for you. Must be awesome. Get to run around your yard. Love Hurts. You get to run around your yard. Tell everyone you beat him. And Mahomes celebrates another Super Bowl. His second in a row and his third total. And there you are with your little participation trophy. Hey, we beat him in the regular season. You see that? And Mahomes won another Super Bowl MVP. His third. Hey, but we beat him. Right here. This is a guy you got to give a trophy to just for showing up, even though he sucks. The whole team is trending upward. Can always count on my boy. Love Hurts. Who cares? There you go, baby. The Eagles are so much more or less exciting after watching this show and other real teams around the league. Oh, my God. Are you crazy? Boy, are you looking at this wrong? I think this is one of the most intriguing, compelling teams to watch every single week. Because you know why? You have so much noise around your coach, your quarterback, your owner, your GM, your fans. Are you crazy? This is a gold mine. They're one of the best. You know who's boring? The Packers, the Chiefs. If it wasn't for Taylor Swift, would anybody be saying anything about Kansas City? No. You and the Jets. Who else? The Cowboys. Look at all the noisy teams, how much they suck. I mean, right? The Cowboys, the Eagles, the Jets. Yeah. All the noisy teams. How you doing? Oh, man. Yeah. I won a Super Bowl, not the Kardashian show. Oh, man. William, down. It started last year. Yes, it did. Dude, you got a lot of drama around your football team. It's wonderful to cover. Are you kidding me? Dude, covering teams that win and only win like the Patriots. The Patriots are, can I tell you, covering Alabama and the Patriots, they're boring. They're boring. Even though there's 13 world championships or 13 championships between them over the last 22 years. They're boring, but they do have 13 titles. I guess winning is not supposed to be exciting. No? It's not supposed to be exciting. No, it's not. It's been the same thing since we lost the Super Bowl. As long as Sirianni's here, nothing will change. Might get worse. It is going to get worse. I like Hurts, but compared to Mahomes, come on, friend. Yeah, who cares who Taylor Swift is humping? I don't care either. Actually, I don't mind her showing up to games. She looks like she's actually a fan. More eyeballs on the sport, the better. More money for the players. Don't see what I don't like what's happening is NFL players and ex-players are acting like WNBA chicks. Well, Taylor Swift, what does she bring to the sport? Who cares? She brings eyeballs. She brings women, and women buy merchandise. The players benefit off that. Who cares? When it comes to NFL properties, higher ratings, which mean more TV numbers for the players also to get money. How stupid can you get? Don't act like a dumbass, stupid, racist WNBA player. Because those chicks don't get it. For 30 years, the WNBA hemorrhaged money. And every single one of those legendary players brought nothing to the table when it came to moving the needle. They all drove the league into the ground. A white chick shows up. I told you this before. Sell it. The one thing that Caitlin Clark does, that Larry Bird did, they brought white eyeballs to the sport. And everyone will benefit from it. It's okay to sell race. You don't watch your newscast or like CNN or Fox. They sell race every day. It's a big business today. Huge business. I mean, dude, if I have a girl who's going to help every single other WNBA player make money, what do I care if she's whatever? As long as she's moving the needle, it benefits everybody. Do you know that the WNBA just signed a brand new $1 billion television package? You know why? Because of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. It's a great rivalry. I would promote that like Magic and Bird. Those two girls bring a lot of eyeballs. By the way, I never tuned on another WNBA game once she got bounced and Angel didn't make it. I didn't care. Those women for 30 years did nothing on moving the needle. And all they cry about is a white chick getting all the publicity. Well, at the end of the day, you're not looking at the big picture. Selling race. What do you think CNN and Fox make billions and billions of dollars off of? They sell race because you know why? People are stupid. It's like going to a strip club. The strippers are the smartest people on the planet. You know why? Because men are dumb. Men are stupid. Okay? They're stupid. Completely ridiculous. I actually like Angel Reese too. I actually like Angel Reese maybe a little more than Caitlin. I'm with you on that. And people don't get it. Angel did a damn good job selling the race thing. Absolutely. Hey, you see what you had? Absolutely. Angel was awesome. Dude, Angel Reese helped Caitlin Clark because Caitlin Clark doesn't have the best. What would you say? What would we say? Personality? She's a little like Larry Bird. You know, shy, not really going to be she's more of an introvert. Angel's like, hey, I can't stand losing to that chick. Hey, I won a national title. She didn't. Hey, I'm this. Hey, I'm double too. Hey, I can't stand. You want to give her all the dude? It's the greatest thing I've ever seen since Bird and Magic. I love it. And I think it's the best thing in the world for sports. By the way, one more last thing on this. Do you know why the African-American women at WNBA have a problem with guys or with ladies like who we've had on the program, Christine Brennan, who's been on this program, asking a question about Caitlin getting gooned? You know why they have a problem with it? They've never been covered like a traditional sport. Welcome to the sports world. You're getting hammered. You're getting covered like every other man. The WNBA women have never been covered like a man and like men's sports. Well, this comes with it. Not everything is great. Not everything is a good question. They're learning for the first time. They're now becoming a mainstream sport. Mainstream sports gets covered differently than gymnastics. Gymnastics, nobody covers that sport seriously. Oh, what about, Simone Biles? Great, I'll see him in 4 years. Good stuff, I guess. Who cares? Gymnastics, I could give a shit about it. Be like me caring about equestrian. I don't care. That's right. Reyes, it's a sign of growth of your league. Okay? Absolutely. It's a sign of growth of your league. Makes no sense to me. How sometimes people just don't get it. Dude, the Dallas Cowboys in controversy, the Eagle controversy, is the best thing on the planet. Do you know? Let me ask you this. Do you think the Eagle organization is embracing this controversy, or do you think they're trying to shy away from it? It's water cooler talk for sure. Remember, it's not like baseball where you play a game every other day. Right? Abe thinks they shy away from it. I don't think they shy away to it. I think they run to it. You know why? Because they could stop it if they wanted to. Oh, we embraced it. They called us convicts. We embraced it. I did everything in my power, and you can go in Mike Missinelli's book. I did everything in my power to accentuate and to push the outlaw image of our program. And I went out of my way to do it. Yes. Because I know it brought more eyeballs to us. And that's why people looked down and called us the most hated team of all time. Because I encouraged it. The building is embracing, the fans aren't. Probably so. Probably so. You're an Eagle hater. Dude, I don't hate anybody. Dude, I like the guy. Very good. Very good. Who wins tonight? Dodgers. WNBA is distracting. The only thing they can cook is a layup. And controversy. That's correct, Godfrey. I don't want to watch layups, but I'll watch a controversy. And I'll watch a train. Americans watch train wrecks. Mike Tyson, auto racing. Nobody sits around watching a 4-hour race. Guys going in circles for 4 hours. They want to see the wreck. When you're on a highway and you're on 95, idiots slow down to take a look and see if someone's killed. Unfortunately, you're rubberneck. What happened? Anybody die? Good. Nobody died. All right. Sills, a reporter asked Jalen, why isn't there more throws over the middle of the field, And he says the opportunities. Then the reporter asked, was it a preference thing? Why he doesn't? And he said no. Jalen Hurts doesn't throw over the middle because they don't want him to throw over the middle because there's higher percentage of turnovers. That's why he throws in the numbers. It's predictable. That offense is as predictable as a year ago. That's why the Browns almost beat them. They're predictable. That's why you've been in every football game this year so far. I never thought you were going to blow teams out. You're not blowing the Giants out because the Giants get home. They rush the passer well. You're going to win, but because they just have lesser talent. But if you have a turnover or two, you'll lose that game to New York. Okay? You're not blowing anybody out. You're just not. Okay? You're not blowing anybody out because you don't have the quarterback to blow anybody out, nor the head coach, nor the game plan. You know, it's funny. Xander keeps going like this. He asked the question last hour. Well, the game plan. I'm like, the quarterback can't execute the game plan they want. And they know that. It's not the coordinator. The quarterback can't execute the game plan they want. That's why they're dumbing down the offense. And I don't mean that in a way he's not smart. This is more of an execution issue. He can't execute it because that's not his skill set. Once again, folks, this is why that guy was replaced at Alabama. That's why he was replaced. Why? Tua's a better reader and spread the ball around better. Plain and simple. I mean, get this. So now you got people saying Kellen Moore's a bum. Brian Johnson's a bum. Nick Sirianni's a bum because he was his first coordinator. I mean, dude, you're running out of guys. You're running out of guys. Eventually, you got to land on the guy, and you got to land on the moon. It hurts. Been telling you since day one. Seals almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Go ask the 49ers, as they almost beat the Chiefs in regulation, right? I don't know what the fuck that means. Okay? I know this. Brock Purdy's 10 times the quarterback Hurts is. And that's why he's been to 2 consecutive NFC championship games in back-to-back years he's been starting. Your guy gets bounced by Mayfield. Okay? Let's not forget. 2 years in a row, he's been in the NFC championship game as Brock Purdy. As your guy? No. And that's his first 2 years starting. Brian Johnson and Sean Desai are not bums. We know this, but the organization will plant that out like that. Thank you so much, Mac. Appreciate that, man. Hurts' best year at Bama was his freshman year when he ran it and was a game manager. OU in 2022 is the best version of Hurts we'll see. Matt, because they utilized him there at Alabama the same way they at Oklahoma, the same way they utilized him in 22. they're very similar in styles of play that they had with Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma with Hurts when he was there, and actually beat Brock Purdy, was at Iowa State at the time, big shootout game, and what they did in 22 with him. And once they changed him around into this passer guy, he's never going to be that guy. Dude, Teddy Bridgewater, Tyrod Taylor, Ryan Tannehill. That's who Hurts is. He's those kind of guys. Okay? He's not even Derek Carr. I mean, he's a little bit better than Taysom Hill. He's nowhere near Russell Wilson prime. He's better than Justin Fields. Maybe not this year. But it's kind of where he is. I mean, he's never going to be a prolific passer. This guy can't throw more than 25 touchdowns a year. Still, for somehow the Eagles are picking in the top 10, would you draft Ewers or Cam Ward? No. You can't. Why? It's a wasted pick. And Ewers gets hurt too much. Quinn Ewers at Texas. Ward looks like a great player. I like him a lot. I like his journey. But you're stuck with that guy for 3 more years, man. You've got to make that work, my friend. Because you gave him the no trade, you might as well have given him a guaranteed contract. Do you understand that? The money you gave him, and then with the guarantee on top of that, he has complete control of his destiny. And if you want to send him somewhere, you have to send him to a place he wants to go to, and you still owe him the money. He has a no-trade clause in his contract. And if you want that no-trade dropped, you're going to have to pay for it. Nicole Lynn, his agent, in Clutch Sports is not just going to surrender that. Oh, we want to move off him. Well, okay, it costs you $150 million. Costs you $150 million. I wouldn't say that, but he is definitely mid, and until proven otherwise, no one will make the argument that he should be mentioned in the top of the league when it comes to quarterbacks. Absolutely, Lionel. He had 1 year where he was good. There's no other sample size in his career so far that lends me to believe that he's anything other than what he is. He had one really good year, and the rest of them have been average. At best. Why can't you guys come to grips with that? 21 was average. 23 was below average. Average. Right now he's average. There's more average years in his career than there are great years. You have one really good year. And most of the time it was solid with no turnovers. But the other 3 years that he started have been average to below. Why are you making that 1 year seem that it's the sample size and it's the majority of his career? It's not. It's not. You guys, honestly, are making that sound like that is who he is. It's not. Dude, you know how you say you're never as good as the best year and you're never as good as the worst year. Okay? Jalen Hurts' 2024 is who he is. Because it's in the middle of 22 and it's in the middle of 23. This year is defining him. That's what he is. And that's your guy. Okay? I don't care what you say. Okay? You put Jalen Hurts on any other team. That team wins 3 games. Hurts, every other team calls plays to their quarterback's strength, except the Eagles. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. That dude got excused for 3 seasons and balled out on another season. It's a shame he can't ever get over the 4K mark. He never will, man. It's not who he is. It's not who and what he is. Hey, listen. Look, there's a part of me that wants to say this to you. They're trying to convince you with words on who Hurts is. When you see it, the facts and how he plays, and your eyeball test doesn't lie to you, it bugs you because you don't know what to believe. Believe your eyes. Just believe what you're seeing. Everybody a week ago, including my guy Xander, there was a lot of optimism that AJ and Devontae were going to be back in lane. It barely mattered. Right? It barely mattered. Love Hurts. You're the only one who says it hurts. You are the one who says that Hurts will throw for 30 touchdowns and 4. I never said that in my entire life. Who in the world said I said that guy would throw for 36 touchdowns and 23 touchdowns, 3,600 yards and 23 touchdowns this year. I never said he'd throw for $4,000 or 300 or 30 touchdowns. I never, ever said that. Who in the fuck ever said that? You're listening to the wrong show, kid. You're listening to the wrong show. I said he'd throw for 3,600 yards this year and 23 touchdowns. Who are you kidding? I told you he'd never throw for 4K. Lamar has the same problem with throwing, but at least the Ravens accept it and game plan to it. That's right. That's exactly correct. They coach him correctly. They got him the right coordinator. Cliff Kingsbury was the coordinator that should have been for Jalen, not Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore's the wrong coordinator, wrong hire again. You know why? Very few guys know how to run the RPO and know how to coach that style of play. Even Nick can't. That's why I said earlier, Xander and I completely believe this. I think Nick Sirianni would have had a better chance of turning around Carson Wentz than coaching Jalen Hurts, because Nick has no idea how to coach that style of quarterback. He's a guy. Do you know how good Nick Sirianni was? Do you know how good he was as a position coach? With Frank Wright, Phillip Rivers had his greatest year in San Diego. I was there. They were getting Keenan Allen open. They were getting all their wide receivers open, Antonio Gates. Running backs were running crazy. They were doing great things. They were spreading the ball around. Phillip Rivers had his greatest season with Frank Wright as OC and Nick Sirianni as the wide receiver coach in San Diego. Mike McCoy, who's down in Jacksonville right now with Doug, he was the head coach. The style of quarterback that fits Nick, like when Nick was the offensive coordinator, along with Frank in Indianapolis, Phillip Rivers had a great year, his final year in the NFL when he was with the Colts. OC was Nick. Nick has nothing to do with RPO. You think Phillip Rivers runs an RPO? I've never seen Phillip Rivers run, let alone an RPO. I've never seen it. Get this. Now everything is Jalen's fault. Your problem is you blame him for nothing. He's the guy executing the play, guy. Everything's Jalen's fault? Starts with the player. Yes. Shitty play call? Audible out of it. You have the power. You make $50 million. Act like a leader. Jalen Hurts, really great year, was coming off fourth place NFC East finish in 2021. So their weak schedule. That's absolutely true too. and they played really horrible quarterbacks that year. Okay? Absolutely. Sills, can you ask Dave Wannstedt what edge rushers? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll get Dave on again. Watch the film and see how many open opportunities our wide receivers. They're second in separation. Hurts is 25th in accuracy. The team will not improve until Hurts is gone. Hurts is an average quarterback at best. And you want to add the coach in that too. So what do you think about Purdy, Darnold, Hurts, Fields, Lamar having the longest time to throw the ball? Well, Lamar's protected by Derrick Henry and the style of play they have. Fields is coached by great coaches in Pittsburgh. Darnold is being coached by Mike McDonald up there, who's an absolutely fabulous, comes out of that Sean McVay tree of coaches. And that Shanahan tree of coaches. They got a great coaching staff up there, especially with Brian Flores on the other side of the ball. That's a good question. Who won the battle royale between Philly 500 and Mark Holmes? You gotta give Mark Holmes credit for showing up, though. Okay? You gotta give him credit for showing up. Great show, Dan. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Senor. You're absolutely awesome, brother. Hurts has time to throw. He doesn't throw it. I hear you. I absolutely hear you. This Von Miller thing. Yes. Yes. I'm not going. Xander, yeah, very good. All right, let me take a timeout. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save at Southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Truth, justice, and the big sills. Sorry it hurts a little bit here. I still think you're a 9-win team. I think you're going to fight it out with the Commanders. I disagree with Mark. I think his Cowboys win 5 games. I think the Commanders and the Eagles are going to fight it out for the NFC East. I still have the Commanders winning the East. I had them at the beginning of the year, and I'm going to stick to it. I think Jane Daniels is going to be the best quarterback in the division. He is right now. And he's playing like it. And I think Washington's getting better. Okay? I do. I think Washington is clearly getting better. So this is going to be interesting. By the way, this Giant game, as I said, the one thing they do, and now with Mulata being out, I wouldn't go to sleep on that team. You turn the ball over twice, you'll lose. Okay? I mean, hey, you guys thought I was crazy when I picked the Commanders to win the East. And I still believe that. All right. Guys, we're awesome. Please do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. Thank you guys so much. 2 to 6 tomorrow. Joe, Xander, we thank you guys. Grading tomorrow, Abe. Yeah, we'll do that. I didn't get a chance to do it today. Sills Von Miller news. Well, hopefully we'll have a little bit more on that because there's some conversation going around about Von Miller joining the Eagles. So we'll take a look at that as well. Guys, we appreciate it. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.